streaming. Just give me a second and I'll tell you this is starting.
So you're going to tell us how long
Hi.
it's going to be?
Hello.
How are you?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
All right, now you're live.
Yeah, who are you?
I have no idea. Who are you?
I don't know. Hi, everybody. Everybody?
Who?
I haven't had a drink yet. I need a drink. Hi, everybody. We're going to go to our little intro video, and then we'll come back and do our live show.
What's the name of the show?
SonarFeed.
Cool.
Oh.
You ready? Going down?
Yeah. Whenever you're ready.
Nobody shouted
What
out.
about now?
Welcome to. That was the best opening ever. So behind the scenes, we had the countdown, and nothing happened. I was waiting and waiting.
It's my first date. That's such a cute
my
new
God.
background.
So welcome to SonarFeed.
really colorful.
I'm not gonna do the Hugo-esque beautiful intro. He is out working tonight.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah. So
Allegedly.
very
Hey,
much
but
allegedly.
Sarah's eating an Eggo.
Lego my ego.
But anyways, hi, we're here for SonarFeed. It is, I don't know what day today is. Oh, it's Monday, October 3rd.
Did you say Sonar Feet?
SonarFeed.
Oh, okay.
I can't speak.
I'm trying to get my Sonar feet looked at later this week.
Hey, did you see the SonarFeed thing I have, though? Did I show you?
No.
Okay, I'll show you in a minute. I want a drink, please. Yeah.
I think you just moved the cameras.
Oh, did I?
No, it was Dave.
Oh, we're just going to do all
the
this.
cameras?
We're real organized this morning.
Okay.
This is an ad for glasses. How did you know? Anyway. So cold open.
That's pretty awesome. We're doing
Cold open.
really
Wow.
good here. Maybe we should redo that and go. Welcome to SonarFeed. Not as good as Hugo, sorry. Anyways, welcome in, everybody.
Don't give up your day job.
I'm not going to, don't worry. Wait, do I have one? That's maybe the problem.
Just go with it.
I'm going with it. All right, anyways, my name is Aaron, a.k.a. Sonar Riley. Next to me, we have we brought him out from behind the closet, Mark,
He's a replacement player.
replacement player. He's a scab.
Oh.
SSFC Fody 13.
Ooh.
Well, that's what they call the replacement players.
That's cold.
Hugo got called up to the national team, so we had to go to the deep bench.
Yeah, the deep bench.
So anyway.
Fuck you guys,
who are
I'm out.
We're episode number 188 tonight, and we called the show "And Now We Dance" for obvious reasons. But across from me, we have Tom Biro,
Tom
aka,
Biro, a.k.a. Bushi Hooli.
and of course the one and only
Dave Clark at Better Than.
the
You.
awesome
I'm drinking Dave's water.
person from Thunderheart. So anyway, so good evening, everybody. How are we doing tonight?
Excellent. How are you?
I'm very well. Doing very well. How many of us went to Vancouver last night? Did you go to Vancouver? Nice.
He did go to Vancouver.
Yep.
You don't have to believe him, but
Yeah.
I went.
Okay. Was it fun?
It was excellent.
Okay.
I'm 3 points heavier.
How was the lid?
That was what?
the beer lid.
The beer lid?
Beer lid.
The sippy
It was
cups.
super cute.
Super cute. Yes.
Although we did have a special Stoli raspberry and lemonade
Yes.
for like $6 Canadian.
Yes.
So like
Do the
$3.
math. It's
Yes.
worth it.
Yes.
I think all of us had 6. And there was happy hour
Yeah.
before the match, so that was excellent.
Was that at the stadium or at the
in
pre-funk?
the stadium.
Okay,
yeah,
that's
right
what I thought,
outside, right outside our section.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about that section is that you can get vodka,
Like
or liquor of
that
all
whole
sorts.
place. You're like, this is strange.
Yeah.
But
For
I
si-
can
like I said,
take
for
this
$6 a
liquor
shot.
back to my seat.
Yes.
Okay.
But they put it in the little cup.
It is cute.
It is.
Yeah.
But I don't care. When I was there last year, I had just vodka on the rocks, and it was
So
fantastic.
Aaron likes hard A, is what we're
I
learning.
do.
Yeah.
Duh.
He likes it hard.
Anyway,
Yeah.
just nice. Just give
Said
that a
that like
minute.
an easy A too, but whatever.
Love that movie.
Okay.
Me too. I know.
Anyway, so
Exactly.
Vancouver, awesome.
Yes. So shall we talk about soccer? Shall we talk about
Sure.
a little bit about the Sounders?
Anything going?
A little bit.
Anything happen?
I don't know what I didn't watch, so I don't know what happened.
Sounders won
Which time?
both times.
That's right. There were 2 games this week. Yeah.
We're all 6 points heavier than last week. So.
Yeah. I was gonna say, that's right. We had the show right after obviously the LA win, which was fantastic. That was great coming off of breaking that curse, if you will, of going down to LA. We had won once in 2009 in LA.
Yeah, when Beckham went in hard and heavy.
That's right.
So they played down a man
That's right. That was the only time we'd won in LA before last night.
against the Galaxy.
Against the Galaxy. Oh, sorry.
There were wins in that stadium.
A lot of them against Chivas.
But
Yes.
Who?
Yeah, who? Yeah, exactly. Whatever those guys were. Okay, so we did that. We talked about that last week. That was a great win.
then there was
Great.
a home game.
The home game was great. Fantastic.
That was a lot of fun.
Fire.
Yeah, fire.
Fire.
Fire. So that was interesting because that was a kind of
It was a weird game.
a workman-like game.
Yeah.
I think was called afterwards. We did just enough to get us the win, but that was about it. It was kind of an ugly game. Again, I was in GA that night, so for me it was kind of hard to see everything. As you know, watching in GA is different.
Yeah, they just put the flags down.
I know, really.
More flags for you next time.
Yeah.
I vote Mark should have to use one of the BFFs.
That'd be great.
I broke one last time I did.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if that's a good idea.
Uh,
Mark was already
Mark
kicked
should
out
have
of
been
the
thrown
snake
out of the
pit.
snake
I,
pit.
Yeah.
I got thrown out by Derek. I
Um,
took 30 seconds to breathe, and that was not acceptable.
Well, it was actually 30 minutes, but let's not, I mean, yeah, like, it's all
Who's the first
relative. But it was a good game, though, right? I mean, let's be honest. It was a good game. We won.
Yeah.
It was a game we needed to win, and that was one of the things, like, to throw it off to another topic. That the Huskies won their game pretty big against Stanford, but one of the things that they've done well this year is that they've beaten the opponents that they needed to beat.
They have to beat.
And they didn't play down to that level, and we maybe played a little bit down to the level of the Fire, but we still dominated them. I mean, we still won the game, right? So that was that for me. That was a good thing.
And that was one of
dominated
the things
possession.
important. And there was
Yes.
we talked a little bit about it, but there was the quote from Schmetzer, from the ownership, that was like, you guys got to get a good result against the Fire, or the LA match means nothing.
Yes.
Or you dig in on that. So they turned it around, and win's a win at the end of the day.
Yes,
So,
exactly. Any thoughts on the Chicago game there, Mr. Dave?
It was another good defensive performance. I mean, that's something that at the tail end of the Siggy era, the defense had also sputtered to a halt. For so long, March, April, May, June,
Yeah.
the defense was good to great.
Mhm.
And then those
Kinda
last
fell
couple
off.
of games, it just tipped over and gave out. And there was some concerns with the lineup switching and the absolute no rest. Like Brian Schmetzer's asking some of these old dudes to just grind out until you've got nothing left.
Yep.
And it's amazing how they're able to hold up for it, because it's working.
that Chad Marshall guy is pretty good.
Chad Marshall is good. Spoiler alert, Dave voted Chad Marshall second in his MLS Player of the Week ballot that SB Nation does.
Who was first?
It's actually a former Sounder. Lamar Nagel.
Oh yeah,
Oh, interesting.
He hosted
he had himself a.
Yeah, he did.
He also played 2 games over the week, and he scored in both of them and got an assist in one and 2 goals in another. And DC United is going to be hosting a playoff game there, and their marketing team doesn't suck anymore. They actually had to open up their upper deck at
Wow.
one point last month.
And Lamar is actually the leading goal scorer for DC United, which I found interesting. I didn't know that until he
And-
scored.
But really, are any of us surprised?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, because
no.
they
That he's been good.
They
Yes.
shit-canned Fabian Espindola,
Yep.
who they brought in to be
Uh-huh.
their leading goal scorer.
Yep.
And Lamar's been in and out. Who's that wing? Chris Rolfe went out early and hasn't played this year.
Yep.
So what's kind of funny is Lamar is having a season nearly as good as his 2014 season, which if he'd had that kind of season last year here, would probably still
He'd
be
probably
here.
still be here. Yeah.
But where the sound when the Sounders asked him to carry the team, it didn't happen. This
Yeah.
year with DC United, he's carrying the team.
Yep.
Well,
and
I mean, different situation, different coaching,
And we,
different.
right,
different-
and we talked about that on the show quite a bit after he was traded. It was one of the points. It's a good thing for him. It was a fresh start. Sometimes you need a fresh start.
Yeah.
You need that reboot, if you will.
It'll be fun to have him out here for the winter. I'm hoping that he does something live. Although I know that in the past he once remotely hosted the FIFA tournament.
Yes.
So we'll see what happens
Yeah,
there.
we're engaging that right now to try and figure out what all that's going to bring, so we can get all that stuff started and going because we got some work to do to get ready for the tournament here.
Yeah, Lamar's been great. And then since I'm giving away my first and my second, my third was Evan Bush.
Really?
Who had a stand on his head game.
2 games.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I did look at all players that played twice a week for my short list. Didn't included some 1 game a week, but Evan Bush had a great game. And I found out a trivia item. Evan Bush tried out for the 2009 Sounders.
Interesting.
So
Didn't know that.
essentially, I just voted all Sounders because
Yeah.
He's the
biased.
only, goalkeeper now that we can chant, move, Bush, get out the way to now. So, you don't want him to have a good game, though, when we're playing against him. So.
No.
But anyway, he did stand on his head.
you know what? If we get to face Evan Bush this year, I kind of don't care how good his game is because that means that
We'd be in MLS,
Cup final?
Yeah. That's, I'm sorry, the
take
Audi
it.
2016 MLS Cup final presented
by
by
Firestone,
something.
probably.
Yeah.
No, isn't it Bridgestone?
I don't. One
Or
of
no,
the,
Cologne. No, they
one of
have
the
a
Continental is
Continental Tire.
Tire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
Of MLS. Yes.
You know who
Are
buys
we allowed to
Continental
say that?
tires?
Old people?
Old people.
Do we have to pay?
Yeah.
No, they enjoy us doing that.
Oh, okay.
Put
Got
that
it.
on a
They
Buick.
will not pay you for it.
Got it. Anyway.
I need to face forward, not
Yeah.
at
Exactly. So you can talk into the
Bureau.
mic. It's okay though. I understand he's sexy. You want to look at him, but I mean, there you go. All right.
Move, Bush,
So-
get out of the way.
All right, so we beat we beat the Fire. So that's 2 games. So like 2 weeks ago, we had Casey Catherwood on from the Tacoma Stars.
Yeah.
We had a great conversation, which we'll talk about them in a little bit. You wanted to talk about them. You had some comments or
I
questions.
love them.
And it was good, great conversation. And we sat there and we talked about it before the end of the show about what we thought about our playoff chances.
Yeah.
And I believe that Tom and Hugo were both very positive.
Going into LA, I was not feeling it.
Wait, so was it you and Hugo then? Who? So
I
were
wasn't
you and
here
I
that week? That you
Oh,
were
you weren't
Yeah.
here that week. That's
No.
right.
Before I was a couple weeks ago was the last one we all talked about where I was like, I don't know.
Okay.
Feels close.
That's what. Okay, so because I was on the offensive, I didn't think it was going to happen, even with the Schmetzer advantage and Ladero. I didn't think we were going to do it. So we beat LA, which we said was we were going to get 1 point at best.
Yeah.
We said we were going to beat Chicago, so we got the 3 points, and then we went into Vancouver, and we said we were probably going to get 1 point from that, maybe 3.
We pulled 9.
But we pulled
Like
9 in a week.
Seems good.
Seems good. Yeah, we basically went from a 32% chance to a 98% chance of getting into the
Yeah,
playoffs.
it's in a week.
In a week.
98.8.
98.8. Thank you.
Depends
nuts.
who you talk to.
Right, I know, but I mean, if you, one of the websites, I'm just looking at the one website specifically, sports page or something like that, .org, whatever it is. So, and all we need to do, in theory, is get a win of one of the last 2 games, and we are guaranteed a spot.
Yeah.
Or have a number of
Yeah,
other
but
things
A
happen.
bunch of things though, like winning out.
Yeah.
They could still. I think winning. If everyone wins out, can't they still end up in 4th?
Yes.
Like just
Yeah,
something
3rd or
wacky
4th,
like
yeah.
that. And if people
Well,
lose,
if
they
the
can
Sounders
actually
win
get as
out,
high
they
as
can
3rd.
still finish 4th. If results go their way, they can finish as high as 3rd.
3rd.
Can still miss the playoffs. So anywhere from 3rd to 7th is
Right,
available right now.
Right.
Bananas.
Which is incredible, yeah.
Which is great.
Thanks, Whitecaps.
Let's chat a little bit about a team that doesn't have that strong of opportunity. It was Portland Timbers, who, when going up against the Seattle Sounders, Caleb Porter in his locker room beforehand said, let's talk to everybody. Let's remind the world that what we do late in the season, we're people that are stronger late in the season. And I remind the world that that's not a Caleb Porter team, except for last year. Caleb Porter
Literally
only has
just
one
last year.
NCAA title. He has one MLS Cup. And if you look at it, he'd underperformed more often at Akron than he overperformed, and he's done the same at Portland. So the Timbers are out, and Caleb Porter sucks. That's
Cheers.
I like that. That's a good segue. That's a good, very good there. I like that.
And as their tifo said, same as it ever was.
Yeah. But they are great away. I believe they also had Tifo, right? Wasn't it?
That's
away
their
day?
last tifo here was the
Yeah.
away day
Warriors
or something like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's working out.
Away day
Away
legends.
day legends.
Away day legends. Yeah, they're legendary.
Remember,
Legends.
not all legends are positive.
That's right.
Yeah, all they have to do is lose in Vancouver, and they will have successfully lost all of
Every
their away
game.
matches.
Yeah.
So
Well, losing
No, they won in El Salvador, which is
Yeah.
rather
Okay.
impressive.
CCL. Yeah. MLS. They're 0-10-4. I think on the road.
Yeah.
Something like that. No win or 10.
I mean,
You
I
know
guess
who's
if you're gonna
seventh,
win
by the
one-
way, in away record in MLS right now?
Who?
The Seattle Sounders.
Are we really 7th overall?
Yeah, you know where they were when Brian took over the team?
Like 20th, 18th.
Fourth from the bottom.
7th.
Jeez.
17th.
God, that's insane.
And that means
In
it's
a
almost
league.
certain that they will finish in the top 10 of the 20-team league, and they could finish as high as 4th.
Right.
Only in 1 year has the Seattle Sounders finished below that 50% mark in away record.
That's insane.
They've twice finished 10th. 1 year they finished 10th out of 19 teams. 1 year 10th out of 20. They've twice been the best record in MLS on the road. Twice had the third best record in MLS on the road. Once 5th, and now Brian Schmetzer will probably get them again to a top 20% record in the league on the road.
It's craziness.
That's Dave Clark previewing tomorrow. Sound at Heart article by Dave Clark.
Thank you.
I did a lot of research. So
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's at sounderatheart.com.
Yes. Sounderatheart.com.
Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram,
At
Snapchat.
Sounderheart.
Also on YouTube.
Nice.
Yes. Excellent. And Snapchat.
And Facebook.
And
Yeah.
Instagram. Everywhere.
Yeah.
You're everywhere. Okay, so before we go into the
So
Vancouver
that's
game.
pretty awesome.
That's pretty awesome. Before we go into the Vancouver game, while I was watching the Vancouver game, because I really did watch it, obviously.
Did you know that kid was 15?
No. Which one?
Yeah.
The one for the kid? Oh my God, yeah. Adam just texted, put that in this chat room like right before you said it
Did
too.
you?
That's
Oh, wow.
hilarious. During the halftime, they were going over like who's the best defender of the year, who's the best, whatever, blah blah blah, up to this point. And one of the questions was who's the best newcomer of the year, and it was given to Ladero, which I thought was interesting because considering he's only been here since July, right? So that Lexi felt he was the best newcomer to the league
He's had
in 3
some
months.
impact.
Just a little, changed the whole team basically, right? The rookie of the year, he said it was Jordan Morris. But interestingly, he talked about the coach of the year. And do you think Schmetzer gets any, depending on how things finish, of course, do you think he gets any recognition for being a coach of the year for only having been in there for like a half the year?
I got to go
Or do you
Patrick
think-
Vieira.
That's what
for
that's
for
what he
number
said.
one.
Okay.
Because my New York City FC predictions were they were going to be awful
Yeah.
again.
Right.
Ben Olsen with DC United.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could get him in there because who else am I looking at? Red Bull.
Would you give a nod though to Schmetzer?
I think Schmetzer might get some like fringe votes, but he won't finish in the top third.
Okay.
You look at the Montreal Impact a year or two ago, had that second half surge when they signed Didier Drogba. They also had a brand new coach at that time, and they did a surge very similar to this.
Yep.
And Biello, Marco Biello,
Okay.
he didn't finish in the top three. So
Okay. I was just curious.
there are people that'll vote him
He'll
2
get
or
votes.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he won't be one of those ones that makes kind of that they show the finalists.
Yeah. The final
for
three.
the top 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Very rarely a top 4.
Right.
He won't make that list.
Okay. That's scary. I was just curious. 'cause-
But then again, the player vote is like a third of that, and so there might be something with that. It's mainly like the media vote where I think that he would struggle.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, look what New York City FC is doing. Like you said, they're playing ridiculous. Like I actually had the thought yesterday, oh my God, we're gonna make the playoffs. It was like the first week I actually had the full confidence that we're gonna make the playoffs. I know we're not there yet, but I had that momentary, like during the game after we scored the second goal, I'm like, okay, we're gonna make it. Then I had the momentary thinking we could actually lose to a team in the East this year because there actually is between New York City, actually both the New York teams, they're both pretty good this year.
Yeah.
And even DC, if they're playing at their level, they're not a bad team right now.
And
so
Toronto is still great. And when they have, for the postseason, they're going to have Giovinco, Josie, and Bradley. When Michael Bradley's your third best DP, you've got a really good core around there, and they've
Right.
got some other good players as well.
Sure.
But yeah, I wouldn't want to play either the New Yorks or Toronto because that'll be at home.
Yep.
And New York City is good on the road.
Yeah.
They're the only team with a winning record, both home and road.
They're dangerous.
What do you think about that? I'm just peeking at your screen with the Crew being below the line, Timbers being below the line. That's pretty miserable for a league to have the finals teams from the year before not make the playoffs.
let's look at this though, because I'm gonna stall here a little bit while 2015 comes up. The Columbus Crew were really good 2015.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're below the red line and they're having what'll wind up being their worst or second worst season of their existence, and they've existed the entire time MLS has,
Yeah.
that's bad. Like, they're historically bad.
At only 8th
That's
place?
an outlier.
Interesting.
But, Portland were only 2 points ahead of the Sounders last year, and we know everything about their playoffs last year was
Lucky.
freaky and fortunate.
Yeah.
The
The ball that was out.
Between the
they
post
could've
and
gone-
Double post.
Double
Yeah.
post. The first
great
goal.
bar
That,
name
yep.
for
Post to
them. They
post,
did a great
yeah.
job.
Yep.
But even in the final,
Right. They should have scored the first goal. Or second goal.
The second goal, which basically killed any chance
Yeah.
for the Crew,
Yeah.
was on a ball that was like 2 feet out of touch.
Exactly.
So it took them a lot. So that one of them didn't make the playoffs is kind of interesting. That 2 is unique. It'll be the
Yeah.
first time in MLS. Heck, the MLS Cup champion missing the playoffs is something that's only happened twice before. The losing finalist has only missed the playoffs something like 6 times before. So this is something that's rare.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of what makes MLS interesting. Yeah, we don't have the promotion relegation, but year to year, you have no idea how good a team's going to be. I think it was Matt Doyle who had predicted that Vancouver Whitecaps would be the MLS Cup champs. And if you look at last year, they were second in the West with a young team
Yep.
that should have improved. And instead, they're awful.
Right.
So MLS has these cycles. Sometimes it's the youth doesn't mature, Vancouver. Sometimes it's the old dudes that don't perform. Seattle, the first half of the season,
Yep.
is as much about talent as it was talent available and coaching. So a lot of people failed to perform, failed to do their jobs.
So looking at Vancouver, because I being the sarcastic one that I am, I dubbed them.
No.
I know it's hard to believe. I dubbed them a Thugcouver because they played, especially after they got Perez. They got Blas Perez, and Waston's the same way. It just felt like they went to a very thuggy kind of overly aggressive.
This year, very
I'm talking
much
about this
so
year.
too. They dive easily.
Yes.
They do a lot of off-ball fouling,
Yes.
which is why Pedro Morales probably won't be there next year.
Yep.
And probably won't play for them the rest of this year, except
Yes.
in CCL play.
Right.
I think they have 1 game left in CCL, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Which,
They have 2 more in MLS.
which won't matter because I believe they've already been eliminated.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Or
they're
they already
qualified. They already
qualified?
qualified.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have
Yeah.
a chance to be top of their group, I think, if they win.
They're already top of the group.
Top of the
Because
group.
now CCL changed that mini groups of 3 where only the winner advances.
That's right.
In order to weight it more in the favor of MLS and Liga MX teams.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Makes it a less interesting tournament. Dave
Yes.
has opinions.
Sure.
They've gotten that way. Pedro
Yep.
Morales is that way. Blas
Yep.
Perez is that way.
Yep. Waston. I missed
Waston,
the red card.
I mean, there's a reason he wasn't playing.
Yeah.
Didn't miss him yesterday.
Nope.
Yeah.
And
At all.
what's interesting is they have dipped a little bit into Canadian talent. It's something that for the first several years they hadn't done.
Yep.
So that'll David Edgar and Alfonso Davies, they've got a great academy. I mean, they were a residency even back to the USL era.
Okay.
Yeah. So they've got an academy that's functional. They're bringing back some veteran talent that Canada lost abroad. I like him for next year, and I think that Carl Robinson deserves another year.
Okay, that was gonna be my follow up question because it's interesting because he seemed like last year like he had it all under control. The team seemed like it was a much stronger team. It was not the divey thuggy kind of dirty soccer that I've watched this year with them, and I was actually shocked this year to watch them play. And it seemed like I was like, okay, maybe they're just against us, whatever. But they just consistently were that way, in my opinion, watching them play. So you think they can get past that with some moves, and then you think Carl because it almost seemed like he fed into it, but I don't know.
I don't get that impression because
Okay.
like they were an exciting team last year. They were about ball movement, quick counterattacks. I think he just adjusted to the talent that was available, and that was what gave him the opportunity.
Okay.
Mainly that.
I think you're also going to see a little bit of, change for a couple years with how these three teams and how a lot of the MLS teams start doing things with their USL
Yes.
counterparts
Sure.
and just how that adjusts how they have talent coming in and out.
Sure, that makes
for
sense.
the better, I would say, for everybody. But I do think that that's like a factor you kind of have to look at when you're analyzing like any of these teams, because there may be people that before would have been, the 15th, 16th, 17th player on the bench.
Yes.
That's now, getting minutes in USL.
Sure.
So they're bringing in different players. So the chemistry is a little different than what you might have expected and so on. So I think there's just a system that's a little bit different than we've had before, too.
Their USL team made it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And was the youngest team ever to win a USL playoff game
Really?
from their starters.
Okay.
They have been young for each of the past 2 years. They play a lot of their residency kids play up.
I heard they had a
challenging
15-year-old
them.
who played yesterday.
Yeah, they have a 15-year-old play that plays in CCL and actually scored.
Oh, he played in
He played in
CCL.
the CCL game and scored.
Wow.
So
No, is he
15.
Canadian citizen now? Well, he's from Liberia.
yeah, I
thought,
believe
right?
he's a dual passport.
Is he dual?
or will be
Okay,
a dual
dual, okay.
passport
Yeah.
holder when he's
Well, good for
18.
them, man.
What-
He's
I'm not
in their Canadian system. Too.
Yeah.
I'm not specific about Canadian citizenry law. He might only be on a refugee or
Got it.
residency
Okay.
card right now.
Interesting.
But,
But he's
when
15,
he's
though.
18, and he's only 15.
So he could be on the Canadian
Yeah, he's just 15.
U15s. Yeah.
So, but they're CCL, and they're pretty good with what they're doing with with their USL team.
Sure.
That's because he's not 16 yet, right?
Yeah.
And they've got a funky name for them. They rename. They go.
They renamed
Their
them?
official team name is the Whitecaps 2.
Yeah.
The bland kind of stuff that we deal with as well.
Yeah.
But their unofficial name is the Thundercaps.
The Thundercats?
Nice.
Yes, because
Did they really?
play at UBC's Thunderbird Stadium.
Right.
Well, that's kind of cool.
So Thundercaps.
Thundercats.
Oh.
Thundercaps, ho.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thundercaps, oh.
Damn, that's impressive.
By the way, did you know that USL teams that are run by MLS squads that have unique branding sell more seats? That
Shocking.
came out.
I'm
Yeah.
shocked.
Yeah.
Turns out when you
Wait.
tell people that it's a reserve team that doesn't matter, fans kind of treat it like a reserve team
It
that
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, so if they were to call them, what was that name again?
like the Thundercaps.
No.
No. The
South Sound Kraken.
the Duwamish
South Sound
uh,
Kraken,
Kraken.
Duwamish Kraken,
Whatever it was,
South
yeah.
Sound. You
Yeah.
think so? What you're saying is that might have had
A better-
an effect on ticket sales?
Maybe.
The Swope Park Rangers, which are the Kansas City team,
Oh,
about
right.
300 more people a game, and they play in like a public park.
Which is a decent chunk of people.
Yeah.
That's
Rio
interesting.
Grande
Wow.
FC, which is operated by a minor league baseball and basketball team, but has the players from the Houston Dynamo. They had about 2,000 people a game to S2's 1,400 reported. Bethlehem Steel, which is operated by the Philadelphia Union, had almost 2,600 people a game. And they play in Lehigh Stadium for football, which
Right.
has like a running track. So it's like one of those
It's like,
you know,
it's like
Italian.
Kazar.
It's a
looking
cool
places
area
that
out
nobody-
there.
I mean, it's a cool area, but they put it. What's that? 65, 70 miles
Yeah.
away from Philly.
It's Bethlehem, by the way.
Bethla.
You say
No,
Bethlehem.
I said Bethlehem.
No, you
Like
say
Israel.
it Bethlehem.
No, it's right here, man. It looks
Yeah. If you
same way it
say
looks in
Bethlehem,
Palestine.
it means you don't know what you're talking about and
Oh,
you're
yeah.
not from there. Just saying.
I had Tom around, so I want to talk a little marketing stuff.
Anyway,
Okay, so let's talk briefly the Vancouver game.
yeah.
They have a 15-year-old.
Wait a minute. Vancouver does?
He's number 67.
Was he really 67?
Yeah.
I thought he was 65.
I'm going to go with 67.
Okay.
You wanna-
Too bad
you
he
can look it up on the
Too bad he
internet.
wasn't 69.
Nice.
Nah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
Remember the guy last name Bonner that was drafted?
That's right.
That had a somewhat explicit Twitter name at first.
What did you just Google?
50, so if you type in 15-year-old Vancouver, it auto populates it.
to other things.
Did it really?
Really?
Oh, when you just had 15
Oh, look,
year
that's
Oh,
based
it
on
is
your
number 67
on the Whitecaps.
Yes. Okay.
Alfonso Davies,
See, I told you I didn't watch it. What did it say?
67.
Wait,
So
wanna know.
delete.
Not Heinz 57 like Brendan Vaughn thinks.
All right. So, any comments?
Anyway,
Oh my
on
God,
yesterday's
that's
game,
terrible.
yes, Christian Roldan.
Holy cow!
He's having himself
No.
a year.
Yeah,
So, he man, his shoulder. Boy, he was tough. He was strong on the ball. I mean, he like repeatedly.
My favorite move was where he like sat on the dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the ball was still
Yeah.
at his feet, and then stood up and dribbled,
And dribbled
around.
away.
Like,
Yeah.
came in for the tackle. I was like, okay, I can wait a moment.
Yeah.
All right, let's go again.
Yeah.
Nice rest.
And he went through like half the roster on that one dribble out and missed a pass by just a little bit. Would have been great. And then he did it like 4 or 5 more times where he was like Salazar couldn't keep up and totally gave him the advantage multiple times when I thought he was going down for sure. He is strong,
Yeah.
strong, and I love it. That is
I think
fun to
he
watch.
stood out to me in person, and then the other was Herc.
yes.
Yeah.
Just did the like I'm gonna do whatever they tell me to do
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
and took the corners, was taking free kicks. Like
Yep.
I loved Herc's skill move. When nod the header to yourself.
Yeah. Yes.
yeah,
Oh, when he tried that was a 45-yard off the goalkeeper's off the line. I'm like, I didn't, of course on TV because it's Fox.
You can't.
and their angles are about this much
Yeah, you have
relevant to
no-
the actual
no
play.
perspective on it.
None
Yeah.
at all because they're terrible. It was like I was like, oh my God, please be off his line further than I thought he was because that would have been the best goal ever
yeah.
to see.
I have to
So-
say though, I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen someone sub on and then sub out, not for injury, but I remember saying, "Oh, look, Valdez is getting his jersey on,
Mm-hmm.
probably going in for Herc." Nope.
no.
I was like, "That's interesting," but good for Herc.
Herc
But
in the post-game interview was definitely out of breath.
Yeah.
He definitely
Yeah.
felt 90 minutes,
But-
it was awesome though.
For a minimum salary veteran, that was a great performance.
It
When
was,
when
really
they're
was.
short,
Yep.
Yeah.
they're peak
Yep.
talent, and he was the emergency start
Yep.
because Ivan Schitz
That's
was
right.
out.
Was out,
Even
yep.
Schitz was out. So that was a great. Like he's making minimum this second half of the year. That's wonderful for the Sounders.
Yep.
And if it's performances like that we see,
Okay.
that's
I'll take it.
that's
Yeah.
worth having around. You
Yeah.
know, that's kind of what we've seen Valdez play as
Yeah.
well.
So
It's that efforty forward that applies defensive pressure. Do you have
Let's-
something?
let's talk Valdez for a minute here because we haven't had you on in a while, Dave, and he's played. I don't know if a different role is the right word, but it's been more of a unique situation. Like he's been coming in as a super sub, if you will, and playing pretty decently. Not scoring. Still missing some shots.
It's not that
but
he's not out there to score,
No.
but he's kind of just out. Yesterday he went out there to tire people out.
Oh hell yeah, he did. Yeah, yesterday was. Yeah,
I'm just
exactly.
gonna run around. Come
Exactly.
get me.
But can you talk about that for a minute? Because I know I've had a few people ask me, when you were on next to kind of talk to you about it because it's an
The
interesting
role that he's being used in now is kind of that first or second sub that comes on and just grinds away. Now that would assume that you don't have to make a sub in the 10th minute, but I think the game plan was that Valdez would be the first or second sub, and just keep grinding away. Apply the defensive pressure. He's one of the veterans that they can look to signal, okay, now we're going to press, and this is the angles we need to close down on. He's, game wise, so that's a good role for him. He is a player that obviously has some kind of curse with his
with the
shooting,
net, yeah.
but anything else that you can ask him to do as a center forward, he's doing right now.
Yep.
So that's great. It's useful. It's a really high price in this
Yes.
salary cap league for that kind of talent.
Right.
It's something that they probably only need one veteran in that role that both he and Herc are playing, and it might be a case of whichever one's willing to take the less
Yeah.
is the one they go with next year.
Yeah.
Between
I can
him
totally
and
see that.
Herc.
Herc, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I could totally see that. I have to say, just talking about money for a second, I think I was surprised at Flacco's salary.
Actually didn't even look at the
Yeah, it was a
article. I'm
little
sorry,
more
but what?
than I think I thought it would be.
How
but
much is it?
280 something.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, really?
Yeah, it was a little higher than I expected.
Interesting.
It is what it is. It's
But
not.
you
$1.5
know,
million,
Freeburg's is
but-
250, 260 ish, and if you look, this is now a team that has a DP slot open, and has had the opportunity that they didn't take to add a targeted allocation
Yep.
player as well.
Yep.
So if you look at that, obviously the fullbacks are never going to be highly paid in MLS. We've seen that. Like, they're very, very rare to get more than a 200K fullback.
Yep.
I don't think the Sounders have ever had one make more than 200K.
Right.
And Stephen Fry, if he makes more than 200, won't make more than 250
Yep.
next year.
Right.
So the 3 of your starters will be under what Alvaro's making right now. But also, there'll be 1 or 2 other guys on the bench that are making that same 250 to 300.
Yep.
And it might be the targeted allocation dude that
Right.
gets brought in as well.
Yep.
Because you're going to get, the band of 3 could be 3 designated players, and with Jordan Morris up in front of them.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, you're Christian Roll down and Osvaldo Alonso, and so then you've gotten Eric Freeberg, an Alvaro Fernandez, a targeted allocation signing, and maybe an Andres Ivanchitz as your bench players. That's a lot of money on the bench. Think about this league and where it's come, where we can talk about a team that is properly constructed and has $1 million on the bench.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Well, and that's where, if it works out, which right now it is working out,
Yep.
then it is what it is. Make it work. But I think to Dave's point on the Valdez Gomez discussion, I would say a couple months ago, if we asked ourselves, and I think we did talk about it once or twice, if you thought either or both of those guys would be on the team last year, we'd all be like, neither.
Neither. Yeah. I think
And now
so.
I don't know if I would say that's the case.
Yeah. Right.
So
If Valdez was willing to take a $250,000 salary, is he worth it sitting there for a $250,000 salary in a year? Does he provide enough value as a bench player /
If every other
spot starter?
forward on the team is basically a draft pick or homegrown guy, yeah.
Clint's probably gone, realistically.
Well, but Clint
my
would be in
opinion.
the midfield.
Right, okay, I'm sorry. Sorry. Yes, okay.
So I'm talking the backup center forwards. If all of your backup center forwards are homegrown
Yeah.
or drafted,
Drafty, yep.
let's say your first round is a GA player.
Yep.
You get like a David Olson.
Yep.
Darwin plays up.
Yep.
Victor Mansoret
Yep.
gets more first team time. Then you can afford to have a bench forward
Player like
making 250,
Yeah. Like a Valdez.
like a Valdez
Or Gomez.
Yeah,
You're probably
can
not
have
paying
to pay
Gomez.
her
No,
250.
no, you won't. Right.
But
Yep.
even maybe you pay him 150 or 200.
Right.
That's fine if your rotation is David Olson, Darwin Jones, a draft pick, Victor Mansoret, and one of those guys. You can get away with that.
Do you think Dave is that close?
Olson?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when he was
yeah.
on.
Oh,
there
yeah.
were conversations. Stay in school one more
Yeah.
year, play
Yep.
one more season.
Yep.
We'll take it then. We know he is driven to be a professional.
Yeah.
Much more than he is driven to be a college student.
Yep.
So I think he's that close. I think there are a couple guys
Yeah.
that are close. Olsen got mentioned by Garth at his after the
Oh, that's right.
Oh.
after
in
the
the-
previous Vancouver
Yep.
win
Yep. At home.
at home. Garth talked about a little bit about the academy, and he mentioned Olsen, Bjorntham, and Shea Adekoya down at
Okay.
UCLA.
Sure.
And then said, I've forgotten people, and my scouts are going to be angry at me.
Yep.
Some of those are Isidro Prado Huerta.
Yep.
Did I say that right?
Yeah. that's
Somebody will
pretty good.
correct me.
That's pretty good.
IPH.
Yep. That's what I
Henry
say.
Wingo
Yep.
is another one. Paul Christensen, the keeper out of Portland,
Sure.
is somebody that you should pay attention to. And that's all that might.
Yeah.
Handwalla Buana
Yeah.
is only a freshman.
Yeah.
True freshman.
Yeah.
So
a true freshman.
He's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I
he's-
don't know that we want to think of him as signing next year yet.
Right.
But if
But go watch a UW game.
Go watch-
and Seattle U. But oh my God, he is ridiculous.
yeah, and remember
Oh.
he's just a rotational player right now for the
Right.
UW.
I
You go
know.
to Seattle U, you've got a senior in Kyle Bjorntham, right back and right center back, who's played for the U23s. They also have a better stadium by a lot.
Who is Seattle U?
yeah.
Oh yeah, I love Championship Field.
You got David Olson. They're both shortlisted on the Herman
Yeah,
watch
they're
list.
here.
And
Yep.
they've got a couple others that are there as well, and RJ Knoll, Sam Langston. So, yeah, I would say if you want to go to the local team that's more likely to produce high-end talent right now, go to the Seattle U.
Seattle U. Absolutely. It's worth it. We have a freshman Seattle U student in the house as well tonight, which I can tell you all about in a Lyft ride sometime if you want, since I tell every single girl I meet all about you. So, okay, so that takes us through that. Oh, let's talk about one of the lesser performances.
He's 15, you know.
Wow.
And unfortunately, he was running through and past one of our defenders who came in as an emergency sub. He's a guy I've liked Fisher a lot. I really have, and I know you've watched him more than I have, and he has not performed as highly this year at S2 even. Adequately at USL level, I think is the word you used, or at league level of USL. He did not perform well yesterday. He had a rough outing from a yellow card tackle that was terribly late, right out of the second half. Before that, the penalty he gave up. So
I think he was surprised
to go
when he subbed out. It looked...
You subbed in or subbed out?
No. Well, you're talking about Fisher?
Yeah, Fisher.
What are you saying?
Yeah.
I'm saying when he subbed off the field.
Off the field.
Yeah. When he,
I think
when
it
he
was-
walked off, he looked surprised that he was who came off
Yeah,
for Evans.
I wasn't.
Well, no,
But yeah.
I'm going to tell you a secret about athletes. They think they're extraordinary even when they're not. It's part of why they become professional athletes.
Right.
Everybody is that way. It's why I generally don't talk about a player's confidence, because talking to players in every single sport that I've talked to, none of them are like, yeah, I was kind of lacking in confidence today.
Yeah, no.
They're like,
Ever.
I'll do it next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how they behave. You know, it's when a player gives you the I didn't have confidence today or I just need confidence, they're doing one of two things. If they're telling you they just need confidence, it's a soccer player only, and they're telling you that because that's what they expect you to do, because that's what the English media has trained us is very important in soccer, is to be confident. Or they're extraordinarily honest, and I think the only one that I've heard tell me that was Lamar during that down
That
stretch
run.
over
Yep.
the summer. He
Yep.
goes, I know my responsibilities. It's not happening for me right now, and maybe that's a confidence issue. And he said that honestly.
Yep.
But it's very rare. Like, you know, Clint Dempsey went through down stretches. You know what? You would never say, oh, he just didn't have confidence.
Yeah.
And what you're seeing there with O'Neal, if he looks surprised to be subbed off, it's because he thought he thought he'd be okay the next time he defended.
Yeah.
Because that's the way he defends.
Right. Exactly. Which again, he had some moments there. Which after the foul, the PK given up. He had a stretch where he was pretty decent, and then he came right out of the second half, and it was like, oh, I thought he was going to get subbed out earlier than that.
You know what's interesting? You said that I've been rather down on his performances. I might be wrong, because the Jamaican national team coach is up on his performances. He got called into their set of
really?
friendlies here. Yeah,
Wow.
two Sounders, and that's basically based off of S2, because it can't be based
Right.
off of this year.
No.
Because you'd look at, you know, he started 3 games and 2 of them were, or he started 1 game, came in,
he started the
2
first
games,
game.
started the first game, started
That
against
one worked
Vancouver.
out.
Yeah. Not really well.
And then there was the Dallas game where he looked great, but
Yeah.
I mean, that was that Dallas game where everybody looked great,
Yeah.
and we had a
Yes.
false hope for a
Yeah.
moment.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. The 5-0 game. Yeah. Yeah.
Appearances have been on the left.
And all of his appearances have been on the left. Yes. Exactly. Right.
And then
No,
no. Not S2 though. S2 he was right.
he was at the right. He opened the season on the right,
Yes.
because Tyrone Mears
Was-
had to serve his suspension from the
Yes,
previous season.
That's right. Yes. But then everything else in the big club, which is not very many, has been in left hands.
The Dallas game was on the right too, wasn't it? His sub appearances lately, he's been subbing on for Joven,
At the left.
and have all been on the left. But the
Maybe it
mistakes
was
that
right.
I see him at S2 aren't mistakes about he has a bad left foot. It's in thought process and how he defends.
Yeah. Right.
But again, Jamaica likes what they see, and they've called him up. They'll probably play him at right back. They'll probably play him as a right back that gets forward a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that suits him
That's right.
better.
Yes.
But he, I don't know. To me, he's just a USL guy.
Okay. And that's fine. And I just there's something about him. I like that style. I mean, that's something I've always liked. watching as someone who's got that speed, and can,
He cuts in rather than crosses
Exactly,
more often.
yes.
Which
I like.
I generally like. That's when Joven's at his best.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry,
and then what
the
about
producer-
Freeberg? Brendan Vaughn mentions it here. Freeberg had a lesser. He said actually
Yeah.
maybe one of his worst performances.
I don't know.
So-
I felt like he was there to play a different game
I think so too.
than he normally was.
Right.
Like, it just felt like he was there to be a little bit more defensive.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't the focal point. He wasn't a pivot. Like, it was just a different thing. I don't know if I didn't watch enough of him specifically,
Right.
again, being at the game,
Is it 'cause there were
where
too
I
many
would have been
flags?
like, oh my God, he was terrible, because I was distracted by a 15-year-old running around on the field. But
Did you know he's 15?
but seriously, I don't know if I would say it's his
Manchester
worst.
United's here to check him out.
I guess I would say it might have been he wasn't as
They did.
he didn't stand out at all to me.
Right.
If anything, Freeberg.
Yeah.
There were a couple times though where there was a point, I don't know, maybe 60 minutes in and beyond, Sounders would like get into some sort of little scrum with a defender with the ball and come out with the ball.
Yeah.
98% of the time, like it just didn't matter who it was.
Right.
So I would say, if anything, there was nothing he did that I was like, wow, that was fantastic from Freeberg.
Yep.
But I don't know. Did you think he played a poor game? I just didn't feel like he stood out.
I'm going to reuse a line I used during the pre-show that we didn't air today with Tom, where it said that Freeberg wasn't going to be the guy that wins the game, clearly, but he also wasn't going to be the reason they lost it.
Right.
If they had lost that game, would have been because of one of the fullbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the only way, because everybody else...
Yeah.
Wait, so you're saying that like a defender on the team would have had to have made a
Well,
mistake?
but
Well,
sometimes
PK.
the central midfield makes a mistake and allows their attack to get through into open space. Alonso was kind of shaky early in those first
Yeah.
couple of minutes. Chad Marshall had to cover that area, did so extraordinarily well. But Alonso corrected, got forward,
Yep.
and had a great game. Christian Roldan didn't have anything to correct, had a great game. We discussed that.
Yep.
So, yeah, the only ones that played a majority of the game poorly played fullback.
Yeah.
I don't think you could say any of Joven, Tyrone, or O'Neal had good games.
No. No, I mean I think Joven played better when he was playing a little forward. He had some moments, I should say.
Yeah.
What was that?
I didn't think so.
You didn't think
He
so?
looked much more comfortable when he got back to left back.
Interesting.
Being in the midfield, because I think he just wasn't used to it on this particular team.
Eileen's off mic right now. She
Yeah.
really liked how he played as a
Left
left back,
not as
a little
a-
more,
not forward,
than
not
when he was getting
the
forward.
winger. Yeah. Interesting, because something about the way he plays with that, like when he came in to start that game for Siggy and he played the left wing, I didn't like him at all because he seemed like he prepared too much for it. But watching him play for his national team, he plays really well in that position. But I thought he played better in that position yesterday than he did when he started the game under Siggy. Personally, that's just my memory, and I could be totally wrong. And maybe it's because I've been a little down on his performances as a left back. So. Again, this is my vision, but
Should we talk about Brad?
yeah, he played for what, 5 minutes?
He played for
Did he play for 10?
15. Came in about 65, 66, something like
Okay.
that. Obviously,
First 14 minutes were amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
obviously killed that penalty.
He should have gone right.
Anyway, whatever, Blas Perez.
Yeah,
Well, he's gone right all but one time.
Yeah,
So Blas was doing
the right thing.
the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still funny.
He said he saw.
He saw.
He said he saw that he was going to go.
Goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After he changed his mind at the last minute.
That's when he
Last second.
Bummer. So other
But
than
Brad also was the reason why that was a PK. Like that cross shot thing. If Harvey's hand doesn't go up,
Yep.
winds up at a Sounders foot
Yep.
because they had two players crash in
Yep.
the box.
That's right.
So Brad did the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Saw a guy go down, hit it right above him. So if the defender stopped it, it was going to be a handball.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
So I like
Anyway.
Brad. I
He
like
looked
Brad a lot.
good.
he looked good.
He looked good. And then, what do we think of the red card for him? We didn't talk about the Vancouver red card, but I think we'd all agree it was.
It was a red.
Yeah.
And he-
But then you ask anybody in Vancouver, and they're like, "Oh no."
He struck a dude in the face off the ball when it could only be intentional.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's a red card.
malicious.
Yeah.
It's a red card. It's a proper red card. Brad's is a little more interesting. I've talked to a couple of refs,
Okay, interesting.
both former SonarFeed guest Nathan Murphy.
Oh, yeah, okay. I haven't talked to him yet.
And then Gil Ruda.
Okay.
Gil thinks I'm absolutely crazy that it is appealable because he says the key
I am
wording
shocked.
is an attempt to strike the player in the face. I argue it wasn't an attempt because if you're that close to somebody,
You would have hit.
You would hit him.
well, you would have swung towards him.
Yeah, not away from him.
Right.
Right. And
Here, I can try. I can demonstrate.
you know, Edgar doesn't move. Brad's motion is perpendicular to Edgar's body, and so to me, it doesn't qualify as an attempt. And I would say the Sounders should appeal.
Also, if you're used to hitting round things with your head,
Yeah, you know, they should appeal. Now, at the same point, I don't think he got the call wrong
I
because
agree.
of his viewing angle.
Correct.
You can't see
Yep.
that there wasn't a strike.
Yes.
So, I think it was the right call, but I think they can appeal it. If they lose the appeal, they have 2 appeals this year. They haven't used one.
So there's no harm.
The maximum thing that could happen is that MLS says it's frivolous and they have to forfeit $20,000.
Do it, Adrian.
Okay.
The best case
You wrote-
is
you- my
you
increase
get
in
Brad
tickets-
Evans in the game against Houston, where you won't have O'Neal Fisher, Nico Ladero, maybe not Jordan Morris. Who else got called up? There were 5 total.
Let's
and
go
I've
ahead and
got
keep
4.
scheduling.
Oh,
during
Damian Lowe,
international
but
breaks,
Yeah.
by the way.
well, this is
This is because
technically
we-
outside of the international break, but by 24 hours.
Yeah.
So
So, and because we had the early season, right? So
yeah, you know, this is one of 2 games that the Sounders have played that are near an international or within an international
I
break.
mean, it's been better this year.
And the Sounders explained exactly why.
Yeah.
They were willing to lose money by playing on Wednesday night games if it meant they won more games.
Yeah.
And they beat the Fire because it was a Wednesday night game.
Yeah.
Several teams played through international breaks and they lost because they didn't have talent.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I get distraction off.
I'm
This
distracted
is-
by people playing with fire behind
Yeah, I
us.
know exactly. That's why I was laughing about that. But
Fire.
Could they have played a couple of Wednesday games in, like, I don't know, May
They
or?
already played 5 of them, and they did one in May. They
Did they have
basically
5?
did one every month.
Oh, okay. Never mind that. I just haven't paid attention, obviously. Never mind. Forget it. Okay. So, but then, to me, it's like, why not?
Most MLS teams only played 1 or 2.
Okay. So why not appeal it though? If you're there's only all you have 2 more. You have I'm sorry, 3 more games to play. The chance of getting
You
both
appeal.
of them appeal. If it's an appealable one, appeal. What did Nathan say? Did he agree with you? Because you said Gil did not. Gil thought you were crazy.
Nathan also felt that the appeal would be
A loss?
unlikely.
Okay.
But would have to. I think his phrase was, "I'd have to see the referee's report to know exactly how unlikely it would
Okay.
be." The referee has to use specific language there.
Okay.
Now, if the referee's report said struck
Yes.
the head
Okay. Then.
rather than attempted to strike, the video shows clearly there was no striking of the head.
But the attempt is enough to throw him off in the game. I thought so too.
Yeah, they're not going to overturn a ref who said he thought it was an attempt because that's an interpretation,
Right.
not a fact.
Okay.
And
we don't know
can't
what he said.
that. You can't know for certain that Brad Evans was attempting or not attempting to hit.
Right.
You can know for certain on video replay whether he struck him or not.
Yes. Okay.
But it's not going to be frivolous.
All right.
So
So we have Houston. So we have Houston. Do you need a drink?
I was going to ask Kayla for that, but you're asking me questions.
Sorry, I-
hopefully.
Would you get
I
him a
like
drink?
you. Yes.
Okay.
She is.
Before
She
you
thumped
move
me.
on,
Oh,
I was
yes.
going to say we had somebody ask in the chat room thoughts on how Salazar did.
How did Salazar do yesterday? I tweeted before the game my obligatory "FU Salazar" just as a placeholder, and I didn't think he was.
We've
terrible
actually played pretty well in Salazar games
lately.
Like if you really
Yeah.
look at the whole thing,
Yes.
I would say he let a lot go.
He did.
He did.
For everybody.
Yes.
Because there were a couple times where I was like, that's a foul, and they're not going to call it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I
He
didn't
used
have.
advantage really well, I
Yeah.
thought,
He did.
and he
With
gave a yellow after.
Well, yes, which was great.
I
That
liked
was really good.
the roll down play he called authoritatively. and justifiably so.
Yes.
I liked that.
Because he could have missed that because he could have turned already because the ball was moving
Yeah.
on.
There were a
and he
couple
could have been looking
instances
else.
where you could tell that he was talking to his AR to get clarification
Yes.
whether or not it was a foul or a yellow. O'Neal's yellow and the tackle against O'Neal were two of those where he talked to the AR to figure
Yeah.
out exactly what level he should give.
Yep.
I thought he actually had a pretty damn good game.
Yeah, I
I had
agree.
No issues.
Yeah, I
No,
mean,
I
if you're
didn't
going
either.
to call it that way all around, then
Yeah.
fine.
Well, he called the level of
He-
violence. We saw 2 red cards. We saw
Yeah.
3
But
yellows.
he
like-
was consistent. That's what all I
Well,
care
if you're
about.
consistent both ways, then that's
Yeah,
the play.
that's all I
right.
care about.
There were a couple
Personally.
things. I didn't watch the replay again, so I'm not sure. I think it was Jordan. I thought he got completely pulled down. Like Jordan on the ball, defender kind of
In
next
the
to him.
box?
slightly right of goal.
May have been. I can't recall off the top of my head.
Through ball
It
from
Yeah,
felt
it was
like
after the
it
second-
felt like he got pulled down.
It was after the PK, right? It was late in the second
I
half.
think so,
Yeah, it
yeah.
was that one. I thought so too. That
I
could've-
felt like
but
he
I
got
felt
pulled
it-
down.
Yes, but
and it wasn't just like the gentle jersey tug, you know.
But that felt like I already gave
Other
you a
than
penalty
that-
kick. I'm not going
well,
to give you another one.
yeah.
Kind of like a get up.
Other
kind of
than
thing.
that, though, when you really look at it and you're like, oh, okay, like that's how that worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd
But-
like MLS to call every game like Salazar did. That's how
I
strong
agree.
I think
I agree.
he was.
I don't disagree at all. I think I would love that level of consistency. So that's the way it should be, every time.
Hey, Brad's sweaty, majestic hair is
we have a
MVP,
Vancouver
guys.
question in the audience, real quick. No. So George, great question about Cascadia Cup. Unfortunately, because we only won by 1 point,
Well, it's
Vancouver.
because Vancouver scored.
because they
Because it
no.
changed the GD.
But
Well,
not
goal
just
difference.
because they
But
scored.
if we had scored 3 goals,
Seattle
it would be
needed
different.
to score a lot more.
Yes.
Right. It was. It had
goal
to have
Needed like
been
a 5-point win.
We needed. It could have been
Oh.
like 2-3
I thought it
nothing
was-
wins. I think.
yeah.
But technically, we had to win by. We had to win by 5.
Oh, we had to win
basically.
by 5. Okay, yeah, okay, that wasn't happening yesterday.
And I think it had to be 5-0.
So
the last
Vancouver-
time.
They had 5 goals. Vancouver needed to beat Portland by 1,
Yep.
which would put Portland at +2 goal differential. Seattle was at -3 going into the game.
Oh, Jesus.
So
Yeah. So it had to
Those
work
were
out that way.
good.
Had to
So
be
if
a
we had won the
crush.
other game 3-0,
Yes.
it would have been very
So
different.
the
coming
answer
into
is
this.
either team can win, Portland or Vancouver.
and
If-
it's the last match of the
if
season.
Portland wins or draws, they get it, and if they lose by 2 or 3, 2 or 3, then Vancouver gets it. So really, it's going to Portland realistically, unless Vancouver pulls a magical rabbit out of their hat, which I don't necessarily see them doing right now.
It's an away
but
match
it is an
for
away
Portland.
match for Portland. So
and
it's going to be 74-0.
it's the final game of the season.
How
Yeah.
crazy would that be?
That would be
Neither
outstanding.
it is likely that neither team
I
will
would
be
laugh.
playing for anything.
No,
Right.
except for the Cascadia Cup. That's
Yeah.
literally the only thing they're playing for.
You know,
Which Carl mentioned in his interview yesterday, the day before. Like
Did he really?
pre-match.
That's what we got left.
Yeah, he was like, we're playing for the. We still have this on the table.
Yeah.
We're still playing for it. Blah blah
Interesting.
blah.
there
So
you go. There's the answer. Yeah, you're welcome.
are
sadly,
you going to have to deliver it?
I hope.
I
not.
saw a whole lot of
Yeah, I saw a whole lot of not
not
Did you?
Every ECS leader that I follow
Yeah.
was like, not me, not me, not
Because
me.
they're
Yeah.
all former leaders or recently
I don't
former.
plan on going to Vancouver on the 23rd of October.
Okay.
There was an
There's-
important match that day. Zach Scott's last home regular season game. Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Okay. All right. So moving on. If anyone else has any questions here or in the audience online, let us know. I want to ask a question here since we're kind of done with that past the game. Todd Peterson asked a little while ago. What are you laughing about?
Brendan in there.
Oh.
Never gonna give you up.
Todd Peterson asked, "Is the starting team from yesterday, but maybe with Dempsey and Ladero to be the protected team for the expansion draft? Have you thought about are they doing the protection? Oh yeah, they're doing the protection. They're only taking 5 players each, so only 10 players total are being taken. And if one's taken, then you're out, etc. Do you have a thought on who you protect as your 11?
I know that.
Is it
Tom-
11?
I don't know. I
Yeah,
assume
don't
it's
know
11.
what you're allowed to protect.
Yeah, but they changed
This
the rules.
is a whole nother thing, though.
Yeah.
But-
I know.
It's
Tom-
You
not
have to
gonna
protect your
matter.
DPs.
because the Sounders are going to go to Minnesota, and they're going to say, you guys have really liked Damian Lowe, right?
You want him to take him?
Here you go.
Take him in the expansion draft, thank you. And then your protected list is meaningless.
Okay. Because if they take him, then nobody else takes anybody else.
Let's go over this. Because I know Tom and I have discussed this, and 2 months ago it was, don't protect anybody.
Don't protect anybody.
It's like you had to protect the designated players, I think. And then
and
after that, you're like, we'll keep Jordan Morris and Stephen Fry.
What, not, you wouldn't even take Roldan?
You know what I mean?
But yeah.
Well, no, that's why I'm asking.
we had
'Cause
a
I don't
hard-
know what you
Chad
mean.
Marshall.
We had
There's
a hard
like-
time coming up with a
There was a point where you were like,
Torres?
we'll keep these
You don't want
8
Roman?
players.
You don't want the dancing fool?
Now I
Not fool,
want.
but- I know.
Now I want everyone.
Yes. Okay.
I would actually say it would shock me if they didn't try and make those machinations work with Lowe and Minnesota.
That'd be fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was interesting though because Lowe tweeted and Facebooked yesterday during the game. I know he does, but it was funny because he tweeted a lot and Facebook. He liked a couple of my tweets and retweeted them. I haven't seen him
had
that
to have been a
active.
mistake.
No, they were good.
No, it had to have been a mistake.
No, they were good.
That would actually be, by the way, like the least shady thing that'll happen in MLS all year, if that happens.
If that discussion happens. Beth,
Is it not on?
Beth would like to know. My question is a scale 1 to 10. How great is Joristan Morden, as in the combination of obviously Jordan Morris and Christian Roldan?
I mean,
That
Jeff
name is a
says-
2.
Jeff
What?
says that 13
A 2?
plus 7 equals 20. Science.
Science. Okay, good. Yeah, there we go. Yes.
The name Jorston Mordan
Yeah.
That's Jorstian.
Joristan.
would be really good in the fantasy novel that I have that's unwritten, but
Okay.
not.
Well, you should take it then.
You could probably license it right now
for
from Brad.
$1.
Just buy the domain name and it's yours. Possession of the domain name is 9/10 of the law.
Now he's going to buy it for $1 and he'll have proof, so it's fine.
Done.
Yeah. Done.
Yeah.
Okay, that works out well.
Anyway, no,
Okay.
seriously, Jorstian.
Red is furiously typing on her computer.
I think if you could merge Jordan Morris,
The rules
and
for the
Christian
draft, all
Roldan-
the only rules I know for the draft were they came out like last week, and they'll probably change like 18 times before now on the actual draft. Is it happens like 2 days after the MLS Cup?
Yeah.
and there's 5.
They can
each,
only take 5 players.
10 total players.
10 total players.
can be protected.
1 per team.
You're required to protect any player with the no trade clause. That includes designated players.
and homegrowns, I believe, right?
No,
No?
That's,
Are they waived?
They are not on your list if
Okay.
they're part of the supplemental roster,
Okay.
which means if their roster spot's 20 plus, which means any homegrown player that doesn't have a salary cap hit is protected.
Okay.
Currently for the Sounders, that's all of them.
Okay.
There are weird circumstances where if multiple homegrown players are signed over the minimum salary, if like 3 or more are signed over the minimum salary, one of them has a small cap hit.
Okay.
GA too, right?
Generation Adidas players are protected. We don't have to worry about that because Damian Lowe's been in the program for 3 years, and Christian Roldan has basically started all year, so both of them will no longer be GA in 2017.
Okay.
Though they are both welcome in the GA at any time.
Anytime.
That goes for any
So
Sounder.
hey, should we get Brad Evans and GA on Wednesday?
I will work very hard to make that happen.
Hey Brad, I know you're watching because you always watch every week. Come on in GA.
I'm just going to tweet at him right
he won't,
now.
He won't be allowed in the snake pit, though.
Probably not. At Brad.
He's more of a top guy.
Hey, in case you're free on Wednesday,
We are literally right
we've
now
got
live
a
live
GA
tweeting
ticket
him.
for you for the Houston match.
Speaking of, Mike told me that the next time he'll be out would be during a playoff game, so he's hoping that happens because he still owes you a GA appearance.
He does.
Yes.
We'll still make that happen.
if you
Let's
have
see
it.
if Brad Evans responds.
Okay. We will not be dancing. However, how about Jingle Bells in the locker room yesterday with Roman Torres?
How about
doing his
dancing every post game?
Every game.
You can dance if you want to.
Yeah. I just want to dance with somebody. Chad Marshall actually liked my tweet last night. I tweeted him that GIF.
What?
Yes. I tweeted that GIF to him, and he liked it.
He didn't go back to blocking.
Isn't it funny to think
No.
about though how like I know how I am like
Yeah.
it's like 11:30
Yeah.
and you're just scrolling through
Uh-huh.
tweets. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, it's funny.
Yeah.
Like imagine if you're like Brad Evans,
Yeah.
and he's probably like at dinner or something right now, and he's like, oh, hold on, let me just check the tweets.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
what?
Oh, it's that asshole. It's that asshole Bureau again.
I've gotten like 5 retweets so far. Good MLS watercolors says that it would paint a painting of this magic.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
Okay.
moving on. You wanted to talk about Tacoma.
Yeah,
Should we talk about Tacoma?
Let's talk about
Taco
Tacoma, and then we'll come back to
Mom?
more. I want to talk about the dancing in the locker room now, because I think it's
Let's
something
talk about
that's-
dancing. It's actually super fantastic.
It is. We
now
talked
we
about it
dance.
last week. We talked a little bit last week about how the troll that is Lawless, that he's very good at trolling. Of course, made the joke about it being,
Yep.
did you guys win
Did
the
you guys win
MLS,
the MLS
Cup?
Cup?
So I tweeted back to him, no, we
I mean,
actually
kinda.
won. I tweeted back to him that we won the Super Bowl instead, but 'cause I was being a smartass. But I love it. I think it's fantastic. I want it. I love it. The fact that Schmetzer does his speech and then
Well,
goes
and now
and
we
then
dance.
turns
He's
it over.
added
Yeah.
after he realized they were going to dance after wins. So
Exactly,
he's
yeah.
like, and now we dance. It's like,
But that's what Schmetzer's so great about, is that he adapts to that kind of stuff. And maybe Siggy was good at it too, and that's great. But Schmetzer has that streak in him that I love personally. It's just something about I like.
He's
like
like, I have a 2-minute speech to give you.
Yes.
And then I'm going to
Turn it
hand
over.
Zach Scott the
Yeah,
microphone.
right.
It's your locker room later.
Go.
yeah, he was like, how'd it go? It was like, Zach,
Yeah.
just the name, and Zach started pounding on the wall.
Yeah.
And then, last night he didn't do the "And We Dance" because, well, Torres was already dancing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He may have just been dancing the whole time.
Yes. I think he probably was.
We were chanting at him, and he had giant headphones on as he walked out onto the field. And then someone's like, he can't hear you at all right now. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I agree, Sarah. I want Schmetz to give me a speech every single day.
Yes. Like
Could you get
watching.
my wake ups. Yeah.
This should be like, back in the day, there was like those 976 numbers that you could like 976.
Hype,
whatever.
hype.
And you called them, and then it would like read you the scores for sports or the lottery numbers or whatever.
Half this crowd
976
isn't
Schmetz.
old enough to know what you're talking
I know,
about.
exactly. That's why I said back in the day. Back in the day, you actually made phone calls and used your voice on the phone.
That tweet
It's
already
crazy.
has 15 likes.
Anyway, Brad Evans is literally sitting there, and his wife is just like, stop looking at your phone.
She actually just threw it in Lake Washington.
Yeah.
That's pretty outstanding.
Anyway.
That's pretty
So
outstanding.
anyway,
But let's do it every week. Let's win every week.
let's just
do
keep
that.
winning. I
So,
agree.
And I think, too, I saw our good friend Kevin from the ECS tweeted at Sounders about it, saying, thank you for sharing these videos.
Yes.
Because it really sort of opens another pipeline of a connection, that we see that the players are really enjoying what they're doing. And it's not just us enjoying the results.
Did you guys know Mark was here?
Oh my God! No, I didn't.
Pretty good right there.
That was actually seriously very
yeah,
good.
that was good. No, but
Thanks for
you
joining the
nailed it.
show, Mark.
Yeah. Here, I'll cheers that. I'll cheers that for you.
That was very good, Mark.
Anyway.
No, but
seriously.
it's true. But it's the connection. That's what it felt. It feels like after 7 years, 8 years, we're into this, that we had this great connection. There's some moves that have made that we've all kind of been like really kind of moves, and there's been a disconnection a little bit. This feels like a complete reconnection inside of the organization, inside of the locker room, and then outside with the fans as well. It's the react back to what
Quote, I'm just a caretaker of the club.
Stewart.
Yeah.
Stewards,
Yes.
yeah.
He said caretaker most of the time.
Okay, but also Stewart. I like the word Stewart.
He
so-
he talks about the players being
Yeah.
empowered. He
Yeah.
talks about relations with the fan.
Yeah.
It is a way to make up a lot of the ground that they've lost through various decisions off the field that have cost them fan interest, basically. And they better take the interim tag. If the only reason to not take the interim tag away at this point is if it's merely about contract negotiations and neither side wants to do that
Do it
until
now.
the season's
Yeah.
over.
I've been tweeting them after every game, obviously, to invite them to.
Because you
remove
enjoy
it.
annoying them.
Oh, absolutely, and they love it. They always like it.
They clearly do.
But
Where are your seats? don't they monitor you?
yes, they do. I have a camera right on me. But I think you're right.
funny
That
'cause it's true.
as I tweeted it the last time, I had the same thought of like, well, they're not going to do anything right now because it'd be silly to do it right now. He wants to focus, and he probably told them,
Yeah.
let's talk at the end of the year.
But I mean, it's no different than like Fry and others like who've signed updated deals in the middle of the year. They're not big on telling everybody when they sign those things.
Right.
It would never surprise me if they just did it, but
Yes.
but I think you're right. I think I could see Schmetzer being the person that's like, guys, I don't want to talk about this until December, and just leave it alone.
Yes, I could totally see him doing that. So,
Share the class.
would you want? Yeah, do you want to share it with the class?
Just read it.
It's just some random like. You
It's
can,
just
you
just
can
him
read
laughing.
It. You
A
have a
random-
mic in front of you.
A random Twitter person tweets to
No, she has a name.
Sounders and
No, this is
Brad.
from yesterday.
It doesn't matter. You can't do that shit. We still won, but you could have cost the team the win. Keep your head. Brad's response. Thanks, Coach Shelby.
Yeah, he had a couple of those yesterday where he was very one-liner. Like, thank you for your insight.
Thank you for Coach
Yeah,
explaining
yeah,
that
it's
one.
So funny.
Yeah,
I will say though, because he did say that it was quote unquote a fuck off move with his head.
yeah,
That'll be the second time that he has taken a red this season for the word fuck.
yeah.
Basically.
That's right.
So.
Yep. All right. So do you want to talk
My
about
captain.
the Tacoma Stars? Now that
Dave.
we've invited publicly Brad to the GA and talked about Schmetzer.
So
Although we
the
talk about Schmetzer for hours.
the Kent Showwear Center-based Tacoma Stars
Mhm.
have some trouble connecting to their lineage and history once in a while. I mean, yeah, they're the Tacoma Stars, but a lot of people in Tacoma are like, well, it's all the way up in Kent. So what they did for their road kits, and they'll wear them a few important dates at home, including their home opener, is they're going to wear a kit that has like the iconic skyline images
Of Tacoma.
of Tacoma.
Yep.
So the two bridges, the Mount Rainier,
Oh,
the
did I?
Tacoma Dome,
Brad.
and the I forget Union Station. So it's going to be great. They had a limited run for one game last year, and they did it for what will essentially be like 60% of their games this year. It's a great way to reconnect to Tacoma. It's a way to embrace their history. They throw a little rainbow stripe that'll be on both their home and away kit that goes from lower right up across the heart. But really, they're using the classic colors that they have not changed for all their history, and the Tacoma skyline. It's great. It's kind of what you want a minor league team to do, is to embrace what makes them unique and embrace that local community. You see it all over minor league baseball. You see it in college sports all the time. That acceptance of community and to recognize that the people that are going to go to a Tacoma Stars game are looking for two things: value, and they have some great value, like their Tuesday games. You can get $2 dogs, $2 American lager
Yep.
kind of stuff, and and their tickets are really affordable. So they've got the value. They nailed value the last year and a half that they've been there. And then the other thing that they do is that passion for place, and this kit is really about that, and I love it.
Yep. So they wore that kit the last home game of last year,
Yeah.
and they did it as a fundraiser. And
Did you get one?
I did. I got one. I
Did
got
you?
Ty Hall's. Yeah. It's sweet. It's a great
Did
kit.
you really?
I did.
Why aren't you wearing it right
Never
now?
told me about this.
No, I haven't told you about this. Let me tell you about it later.
He's wearing my hoodie right now. That's why.
Oh.
Yes, I am wearing his hoodie. It's a great kit. I love that kit. So I'm excited to see them do that. And we are in discussions with gentlemen about doing a live show from Showware. I know Sarietes did it last year. I think they're going to try and do it again. But after we had the amazing Casey Catherwood on a few weeks ago, we're talking about doing a live show potentially from
great.
the opener, maybe at the Showware Center. So
That'd be cool.
I went
Yeah.
to
Does that mean I should go?
2 games last
Probably.
year.
yeah, I'll let you know when I know more.
You would enjoy it, especially those Tuesday matches, Mark.
Yeah.
That's your kind of.
I've been on a
That's
weekend
your
before.
kind of thing, Coog.
It's your kind of thing, Coog.
I do very much enjoy myself some.
So yeah, I love the Tacoma Stars. And what was it? 8 months ago, when there was that rumor that the Rainiers, who do all the business operations for the Stars, were going to look at relocating S2 down to Tacoma, and that kind of marketing. We talked about it. I talked about it earlier because I like to give you a little hint at where I'm going to be going. Rio Grande Valley, Bethlehem.
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 Bethlehem. Steel.
Bethlehem. Yeah.
Bethlehem.
Anyway.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Steel.
yeah.
Swope Park Rangers. They all have that kind of. do all the business and marketing operations.
Uh-oh, now we lost our
And
camera.
that seems to be, unless you're going to go full deuce, full two, that's the way to make it work. Like, if you want it to work as a business entity and not just a developmental platform,
Yep.
have unique branding.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Embrace your local community. I mean, I've been on that for about 2 years now.
Yeah.
The
I mean,
USL team.
forget just around here, and like, because we could all Monday morning quarterback or whatever you want to call it, like team uniforms for your local team that you live and breathe and see all day. But if you look at like uniforms for 100 years in a lot of other cities, you always can get some sort of like a skyline or a mountain or whatever the heck it is. Like the smart teams that have done it have tried to do creative things. You know, Washington Capitals had the Capitol building, you know, in the lettering
we
on
had
the front.
one Rave Green jersey that had the Space Needle embossed.
as part of
I'm
it.
sure that licensing was fun.
But you look at the Seattle Mariners with the Compass Rose.
Yeah.
You're a Mariner. You're on the sea. The Compass Rose is part of their. You know, they've done the Trident in the past. There's
Yep.
that connection. They had the cheesy ass boat that came out with the cannon after home runs back in the Kingdome era.
That was great.
Which was wonderful. You know, and continuing those traditions. You know, the way that you can't really copy the NFL at anything, but that transition
You can actually give money to cancer, though, charity,
rather than the NFL.
rather than what the NFL does.
But I'm more talking about what
Low key shade.
what Lewicki
Yeah.
did when he took over and he looked at how do we reconnect with the fans. So he did the 12th man flag, and the 12s became a thing.
Yeah.
You know, that was only 10 years ago.
Which is hard to believe.
They
yeah.
needed to rebuild and reconnect with the fan base.
Yep.
Despite the fact that CenturyLink Field was an awesome football stadium, they'd lost that connection.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, those years that
Connecting
UW were
to your
hard.
community is the number one thing that a sports team can do from a business aspect.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. And that's one of the biggest complaints, and we talked about it with Casey, is that if there was a place in Tacoma to play, they could be the Tacoma Stars and play in Tacoma. But
All they
there's-
got to do is get over 10,000 again,
right.
because
But that
anything
takes-
less than 10,000 in the Tacoma Dome is not going to work.
No, but that takes time too. Like you can't just immediately overnight expect 10,000 fans. So,
Tacoma Dome is
and the Tacoma Dome is it's old, and the last time I think the last time I was in the Tacoma Dome
Probably
was
has
for
better
David
lighting than
Bowie and Nine Inch
Starfire.
Nails back in
Wow.
like '95.
That was
It
a
may have been
long time ago.
Yeah, it was a good show though. But I'm trying to think if I've been there since then. I can't
Who
imagine.
did the music for the original
Oh, that was another thing.
Mad Max?
For the original Mad Max?
I don't know, but we have the internet,
don't-
so we could totally look that up.
We don't need another hero.
Oh,
Tina Turner?
Yeah, that's the last person I saw at the
Oh,
Tina.
wow. Good call, though.
She was in her late 50s and gorgeous.
I love that you remember Tina Turner.
Specifically.
Yeah, that's
By
pretty good.
Mad Max.
Yeah.
I remember who
Yeah.
Tina Turner.
That's a pretty good one. I was like, yeah.
Oh, good call from Brendan. I think Evans wanted that red card to improve his goals per 90.
He's got a goals per 90 metric he
That's
needs
awesome.
to reach. And he wasn't going to do
It
it
gets
as
him a
center
bonus.
back.
It gets him a bonus.
Kevin Hope, who's watching, which, by the way, Kevin, thank you for watching. He's in his hotel room because his apartment burned down, and he was safe, thankfully. Well, it didn't burn down, but it burned.
It might as well have.
But
I've
he's not
seen it. It
living
was
in his
not
apartment.
good, but
no.
he and his roommate are safe and sound.
Safe and sound. Yes, and he's in a hotel. He's watching, but he asked, "Who do we want the Sounders to play in the knockout round? Do we want to play Sporting Kansas
That's a
City?
great
Do we
question.
want to play RSL?
Whoever would like to lose.
Bye week.
A bye week would be better.
I don't think they can bye week.
The only way they can bye week is if like a
Second, right?
miracle. They'd be second.
There's like
one
everybody
chance.
else loses, and there were like
Yes, and we
80,000
win.
goals against
Correct.
for
It can happen.
Colorado.
Have you watched the last few weeks? Schmetz could make it happen.
LA, but we're hosting.
I mean, if
LA,
you're
but we're hosting. Oh my God.
so if
They
you're
go epic
fourth,
collapse.
Yes.
so if you're fourth,
They're fourth.
okay,
Third to fourth, we get a home game.
right,
Right.
I'd like to
And-
give them
And
my
right
money.
now we're sitting at fifth,
And who are you playing? If you're fourth,
If you're
So
fourth, you
you're-
play the fifth.
and then if you're
If they're
third, you're playing
fourth,
sixth.
they'll probably play RSL.
RSL,
RSL.
Right. So
they're
twice in
third-
4 days,
Oh, because we're playing on the last game of the year again
And heck, if we're fifth,
And they
it's
could just
probably
stick
RSL
around.
at fourth,
at RSL.
which
though.
means home, and then 4 days later, 4 days later at RSL.
Right.
I do not want to
So-
play at RSL.
I agree.
In a one-off game.
No.
Yeah.
And I don't want to play at LA in a one-off game.
So
No.
Chase, though, of course, being from Salt Lake right now because he's going to school there, he just said RSL so I can go to another Sounders match this year. That was his choice.
I mean,
enough.
It's fair
great
choice,
for
but
Chase.
good for Chase, but not for us. Not for
Yeah.
us.
I'm concentrating on how do we get another home playoff game.
Yes.
Agreed.
Yes, I agree.
So making the next round.
Yes.
As Lickett would say, we put more goals in their soccer net
Neat.
than they put in our soccer
But
net.
Thanks for breaking that down.
you want RSL at home,
RSL here would be fine.
Sporting Kansas City at home, here.
Sporting Kansas City anywhere will be fine.
Sporting Kansas City, as long as we get 2 minutes of extra time.
Okay. Okay.
As long as it doesn't go to penalties.
Right. No penalties.
No penalties. Well, it's October. No, it shouldn't be.
And no Salazar.
And no Salazar. Okay, fair enough. Okay. Hunch Punch had a great question, I thought. How far you want to go into it, we can decide. All-time kit. If you had to draft your all-time kit,
Can I go first?
each host gets to draft one pick at a time to make a set of 3. Doesn't have to be home for home, blah, blah, blah. If you wanted to go away, whatever, blah, blah. But so, I don't care who. Do you want to go first, Dave? Go ahead, that's fine. All-time favorite kit.
I'm going to go Shale with the intertwined blue and green
Interesting.
ribbon.
So you're talking about
Going up?
is that
the ECS shirt.
The second
the second
Shale.
year? It's the second shale, yeah.
Not
You mean the one that looks like an ECS shirt? Yes.
All right, Tom, you want to go next?
09 Rave.
The original
Yeah.
rave, which is still the rave I still wear.
It's the only jersey I still wear.
Really?
Yeah, I have a couple of others, but it's the only one I
Okay,
wear.
that's one I wear the most.
Well, the rest
because
of
it fits
yours
the
are
best.
signed and game worn, so you're
They
not
are,
wearing them
yeah.
yourself.
09 blue.
I do have a white one that I bring with me to play soccer in, just because I don't have anything else other
Should
white shirts.
I say Olympic white?
No.
I'm not going to.
No, you can call it Pacific.
Fuck you. Yeah, Pacific white, as Taylor Graham called it yesterday.
Yes, you did.
So we got the 209 kits and the
Pitch black?
Ooh, yeah.
Good call.
Yeah.
Black?
Yeah.
I think pitch black.
I'm gonna
I think
go
it's probably my. I mean, and I'm honestly, it's probably my favorite one.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite of all time. Even more than the Rave Green.
I
First one.
thought Pitch Black was great.
Yeah. Anyways, so sorry. Go ahead, Dave.
electricity.
Okay, that would. Yeah, I love that one.
So I've got a Shale.
Ooh, that's.
Shell electric. Sissy.
I don't know where I'd go from there, because that's probably what I would have.
You don't want bra
Pacific
straps?
blue?
Don't say you didn't.
You
Ah!
got green with Space Needle. You got green with S's.
And green with green
So the
with
new S's.
You got green with
You know what? I'm
bra
gonna take
strap?
the new S's.
green S's.
Yeah, Stussy. Yeah, the S's that everyone in the world knows how to draw.
Yeah, the
Look,
S's.
look that up on the internet, and I'll see you in 2 hours.
Yeah. Mark.
Yeah.
Okay, good green S's.
Good call.
You've already got a blue.
Yeah, you have a blue, original blue.
He only does.
I would
second
say
jerseys.
Shale bra straps, because the
Really?
only one that I have.
Are you actually saying that?
Yeah, because
I thought that was
going
to go last.
jersey.
Yeah.
I'd
I
prefer that over
have.
green
Okay.
bra strap.
True.
Okay. Well, then I'm going with blue, Pacific blue then, because that I love.
So you got
Pacific
both
blue.
the Pacifics.
He's got
No, I got
pitch black,
and Pacific blue.
Pacific blue.
Oh, I thought you were gonna do.
That's hard
Pacific
to.
No, hell no.
No.
Fuck the white. The only white I would have taken is the 40-year-old white, or the original white. Not.
I'm going embossed Space Needle green then for my third.
Okay.
Because I didn't have a green yet. So.
Okay.
Wow. My choices are pretty slim.
What do you
point.
have?
I have. Ooh. That's actually what I'm gonna go with.
Damn it!
Yeah.
Fuck!
Because it was literally like another
I love that
alt,
one.
You have
another alt,
you
or
have the double,
another
you have
green.
the double S's and you
Super
have
Saiyan.
the
S's.
original green.
What's your third?
Super Saiyan.
It's the Super Saiyan.
Nobody else heard it on.
Oh, it's
Oh,
a Super Saiyan.
Super Saiyan.
Sorry. Thank you.
Bastard. I hate you, Colton.
There are people listening as well. So
Yeah,
Mark
that was
has
going to be another green.
I know. Yeah.
Mark has the original blue. Mark has the Shale with bra straps
It's a Zakawani jersey. Come on.
because he likes it.
Next year's kit.
I've seen it. High five.
Yeah, and that's how I know because.
That's good. Very good choice.
Mark's an asshole.
Yeah, pretty much. How about one that's already
So
out
Mark,
there?
Mark turned his back on Olympic white, bra strap green.
Honestly,
All of the warm-up jerseys.
I'm not. A
I don't
huge
know,
fan
man.
of
Those
the
gray
Ray Green
warm-ups
Is that
are
all that's
kinda
left?
hot.
I think it is.
Yeah, so you get bra strap green or Olympic white.
Yeah, that's no question. Bra strap green. 'Cause as far as I'm concerned, white can go just
Burn.
gone. Yeah, we need to have a burning party. I think we absolutely need to have a burning party. So.
Oh, and then with my fourth pick, can I pick the 2018 jersey?
Ooh.
So then his.
I would also pick the 2018 jersey.
Do we know? But that's the home jersey, right? That you guys have seen.
Just not.
Nobody's
Yes.
seen the 2018.
The 2017. The 2017 that people have seen is the home jersey.
2017 is
That's-
replacing Olympic white, which was the second kit.
Oh, that's the away kit. So then
Pacific
never mind. I'm not going
Blue-
to ask this question.
Is
Pacific
the,
Blue
is
is
the
the
third.
third
Kit.
right now.
And there will be
when
no thirds.
It disappears.
That's right.
It's done unless Adidas and
I
MLS are
heard-
convinced that Sounders fans will buy anything.
I heard that.
So there might be third kits again in the future
Yeah.
if
For
the
just the
Sounders
Sounders.
qualify for. They have to be.
Be in another tournament.
They have to be in a tournament
Oh.
like Champions League or Club
Okay.
World Cup.
So I
'cause
heard
those
wrong.
demand 3 kits.
Yes.
And it has to be an organization that has a
sell.
history of
Which we
buying
do.
third kits.
we do.
Which basically LA, Portland, Seattle, and Kansas City,
That's it, right?
because they've had those cool herringbone and argyle looks, which they've aced. Like the herringbone and argyle
Yeah.
stuff that they're out there that they do. If they just go
Yeah.
80s prep for their look, claim it. It works.
All I have to say is you will all be extremely pleased with next year's.
Yeah, I've
Okay.
everything I've heard from everybody who's seen it but can't say it what it is. It's the best kit we've had. It'll be the best kit we've had. That's what I've
Yeah,
heard.
you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, as long as it's not Olympic white, I'm totally fine.
What if it's purple?
Fine. I love purple.
Is it lavender purple?
I
or
wanted-
It's
violet
not purple.
I wanted a purple until I mean
Orlando
Orlando
showed
came
up.
in, but
Screwed that up
even
for
without
everyone.
them, I still
Fuck
wanna.
purple.
I still wanna. Hey, it's better than freaking whatever you got, burgundy or whatever.
It's
Let's
better
take-
than shale with bra straps.
Let's take some questions. Do we have
Yeah, how about
questions?
questions? Does anybody have
Are there any more
questions
questions?
before
Let's
we?
get off
questions
of that
here?
delicate
How about-
topic.
How about questions here? Questions?
Colton wants to know if we'll take some tests for him at school.
He probably
The
doesn't
answer
want
is
us to
no.
do that. Yeah.
Have we met Colton?
Yeah, hi, I'm Colton. Yeah. Oh, Grandma had a good comment. One of the things is as you bring players into GA, how do you deal with kind of giving them, making them one of not a autograph session, it's not a picture session, blah blah blah, so that they can experience it and enjoy it. Is that something you've dealt with or can deal with?
Yeah, I mean, like we had Jordan Schweitzer in earlier this year, and they had like training or something that morning, and I met up with him, brought him in. I think we told people that he was there. People recognize him. I mean,
Can we have him
they know
back,
who he
by the
is.
way?
Yes.
It's
We said ask him.
if people get into it, generally speaking, like the capo in this section will just be like, "Hey, he's here to enjoy the game and participate."
Colin
That's
Hanks
what this is.
was in.
Colin Hanks was in the section. That got a little weird.
But that was mostly focused on game. Like
Yeah,
people didn't
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
didn't
But,
really
like, Roger
bother-
came in
During
into the
break
section
stuff,
and,
yeah,
and
but
that was
I-
a little different.
I think, honestly, I think the fans, the supporters, the people in the section, people outside the section are pretty good.
Okay.
In Seattle about that stuff.
except
I think we're-
halftime.
In
Well,
general,
halftime's
though,
one thing,
I-
yeah.
No, but I think like in game time, I would say we're pretty good about talent of any type. In sporting events. Yeah, it's not really about like giving instructions. It just tends to be like, if somebody notices, it's just, hey guys, we're here to support. This is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Move on.
Yep.
And if they want to, do stuff at halftime or whatever, like when Adrian was in,
Yep.
was in the section, he did his we were all worried about his shoes
Yeah.
getting stomped on. People who like aren't his biggest fan or aren't ownership's biggest fan, were all pretty good to him in the section. People took photos. Like there was a whole lot of selfies being taken.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny, but I don't think we really have an issue, and I think the players know that too. Like when it's easy to glad hand and go, yeah, I'll be in the section, but for the most part, I think they all actually mean it. Eddie Johnson showing up into the section in Florida,
Yeah, and you were there.
that was pretty nuts.
Yeah.
Got to get one of the national TV games. Got to get Steve in there because he won't be working the
Yep.
radio during.
That'd be
the game.
fantastic.
He'd only do pre-half and post.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we're definitely going to bring Steve back here on the show because I'm going to make sure I'm there for that show because he was
Outstanding.
And he
Yeah.
actually retweets our show every week and I mean, he's a great. I love Steve. He is
Makes jokes about Eddie Johnson when Eddie Johnson's in the room.
right.
I mean,
well, and then Steve went out.
off camera.
Yeah, but Steve went out the last couple weeks. He went out with Oak, and then did it again,
multiple times.
which
yeah.
I'm like,
It's nearly a Friday night tradition now that
I
if
know.
you want to hang out with Steve Zacquani,
Yeah.
you go to the Atlantic Crossing.
right, which is a great bar. We love it.
An
Awesome
ECS
people.
partner bar.
Yep.
Plug.
sometime
And,
between
we did a
7
show
and
there.
10
We did.
p.m.
We did a show there. Great. I mean, they treated us like top, like first class.
Oh,
And
yeah,
in fact,
I remember
you're
when-
wearing that
I remember when I won
sweatshirt
that
over
for
there.
ya.
Yeah, but amazing, great place.
And he's apparently Oak has relayed that he's told some stories that are just doozies.
Yeah, and he still comes
So,
out,
Yeah.
which is like I love Steve. Steve. Yeah, that's where we've got some great like connection
Can-
with Roger and Steve and Brian, and we have the.
Can I plug a Sounder
Go
Dart
oh
opportunity?
my God! Yeah, of course, please.
I
Always.
am talking to Eddie Johnson and Steve Zacquani about why players kneel in other sports but not soccer tomorrow.
Interesting. Are you doing? What are you doing? Like a live
Phoner
A phoner
with
okay.
them.
Okay.
Be reported, might be, depends on how the conversation goes. I've shared those before via like SoundCloud in
Yep.
the past.
Yep.
But yeah, I reached out to Steve and then through Steve to Eddie and said, hey, I know Eddie's got thoughts on it because
Yeah.
we talked to him about it growing up
Yep.
and
Yeah.
everything. And I'm like, if Eddie was a player right now, I have a feeling he'd be talking.
Yeah, I think it would. too.
Absolutely.
I wanted
It'll be
reach out
interesting to get an answer on that.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
So it's about
We should ask that
why they kneel.
question.
yeah.
And the importance of kind of that movement.
Which
And-
is, I mean, I don't want to spill the beans, but you guys have a special guest on your podcast tomorrow.
Yeah,
and so I'm pretty excited about that.
Nate Bowling wrote
Yeah.
an article explaining why he was kneeling,
Yep.
and that's kind of spread and inspired
Yep.
some other people to kneel.
Yep.
It talked about actions to,
Yeah.
if you don't want people to kneel, here's what you need to do
Yep.
to improve basically the standard of living.
Mhm.
Because the standard of living when you're in a community where you don't know if the police are your friend or your foe isn't very high. So Nate was eloquent about that. He's since shared it on his own personal blog.
Yep.
Yeah, he's going to be on Nosadius this week or next week.
This week, yeah.
Excellent.
Somebody watches their Twitter feed more than I do.
Well, I've also been talking. We've been talking
Yeah.
to Nate for a while too.
And you've talked about him coming on as
yeah,
well.
he's going to come on. He was talking to Nos Adietas first, and in the spirit of good, friendship and love of the community, we're like, do your thing, and then when you're done, and we'll have a follow up kind of.
You
a
could
different
have the
conversation.
podcast wars of 2016, like the news wars.
We don't really want that though, because that's not really our MO.
I mean, I could have
Justin's crossover.
I could have bumped Jeremiah off the boat yesterday.
Well, you should have. I gave you $20.
messed up.
What did you do with that $20 I gave
Sorry, Jeremiah.
you? Sure.
He bought Rainier.
But anyways, I'm excited about listening to him because he is
Well,
a
actually, it was
very
PR.
eloquent spoken.
He's no longer Teacher of the Year.
I
though,
know,
'cause
but he's always
somebody
the
else
teacher
has
of the year.
position.
But he's not former. He is still, but he's just 2015 Teacher of the Year, not former, or 2016 Teacher of the Year.
So
You could say he's a Fody, a former
No.
Teacher of the Year.
He's always the Teacher of the Year.
See,
We'll talk
Well
about that.
done.
when
Trying
it's
to
time.
get
Yes.
Mark to laugh.
Did you
Yeah.
did
Still
you
didn't work.
tee that up
Anyway.
like 2 hours
You're
ago?
Fody. It's different.
No, because I didn't.
It's different. It's okay.
Going to talk about that.
Okay. Just checking.
Anyways, but I think that's exciting. I'm glad to hear that you're doing that with Steve and Eddie. I think that'll
Yeah.
be good. I actually I tweeted it out before the game.
He's
Wednesday
probably
night.
listening and then just canceled. He's
Probably,
like,
yeah. Screw you,
no, I'm
Dave.
not doing it, Dave.
I am out.
But I knelt for this national anthem on Wednesday in GA, and there was a guy behind me who may have had a few drinks, but he was very excited or very happy that I did it. He said he almost brought him to tears, blah, blah, blah. And then I realized that during the drive-in with my daughter, I hadn't had the conversation that I meant to have with her. And so she's looking at me like, what the hell are you doing, Dad? And so it was great. Afterwards, we had a great conversation. I gave her Nate's blog to read so she can read that. And so
You
we
had a
can discuss
parenting
it.
moment.
I did. It was great. And I screwed up, but then I turned it into even better. So
That's good.
It was good. So it was a good conversation to have, I mean.
I saw Lily
so-
on her birthday.
Yeah, you did.
Waved.
Right? Yes.
She
She
rushed
was
by.
running to the bathroom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
didn't
because
say anything.
she was worried because
So
she had
rude.
to eat. She got chicken and
parent.
waffles, which she
Oh,
really enjoyed.
that's right. I saw you
She
guys
really
there.
enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But she was worried because she was eating it as the game started because she couldn't finish it fast enough, and she was worried about getting yelled at. So then she ran upstairs to wash her hands so she could.
You
come
should
back
tell Derek that. He'll appreciate it.
I think he will. Yeah. So she wanted to be sure she was good.
somebody.
So all right.
Todd has a question.
Oh, Todd. Yes. Is Evans a free agent next year?
Probably not. I'm at the point where I'm not 100% sure, but I think that the team has a player or a team option on his contract.
Okay.
Not certain. That's why there hasn't been a Sounder at Heart story. Because, well, to put it in print, I'm going to wait a little bit and be
Okay.
certain.
Yeah.
But I have a expectation that the team has the option, and I have an expectation after that, so we get diminishing percentages here, that they will exercise it. Because they like Brad Evans, the soccer player.
Yeah. I somehow feel like if Ziggy were still here, I think I could have seen Brad not being here next season, and now I think I feel that same way that he probably will be.
Wait, you said under Siggy you felt he would be gone?
Yeah, some
Really?
part of me just felt like it just seemed like
Because he was like Siggy was one of his biggest.
yeah, but it just felt like there was some tumultuousness
Yeah, no, I agree.
under Ziggy's tutelage. It just there was something there that was just weird.
Yep.
As pro Ziggy as he might have been publicly and privately, but for some reason either the tone has changed or just the way Brad fits into the team just feels different now.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway,
Lisa asks if Siggy gets the LAFC job, does he still Evans for LAFC?
it would never surprise me.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're talking about some time off from now. So
Yeah, right, another year. Because they're 19, aren't they? Or 18, I mean?
18.
18.
Yeah.
Yeah, supposedly.
They broke
18.
ground on their stadium, so.
One more, yeah. Okay.
Think you'll find an interim coaching job somewhere? Not an interim, but a 1-year coaching job somewhere?
Siggy, the question is, will Siggy find a job as an interim one thing? I think he's going to go, personally, he lost out in Minnesota, right? Because they got, Atlanta. I'm sorry, Atlanta. They lost out in Atlanta.
Yeah,
'Cause
he's
they got,
not at Atlanta.
Minnesota's a possibility.
Yeah, and I think that he's looking at things like Minnesota, Sacramento, and LAFC right now.
Okay.
Because I'm still very confident that the
Sacramento?
Sacramento Republic are in MLS before Miami is.
Oh, absolutely.
So Team 24, I'm at like 98% certainty will be Sacramento Republic.
Okay.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
No, I
at
agree.
all.
They deserve
I actually
So-
think
They
Vegas
deserve
might
it.
beat Miami in.
Wow.
Mainly because I think Vegas is the only other place where David Beckham would say,
go, yes.
"Oh yeah, that's my kind of vibe."
Let's
I
do
think
that.
they would.
Yeah.
I think he'd be good there too. I think Beckham in Vegas would not be a bad
I have
thing.
to say, if the Raiders crack that, if
Yeah.
Vegas gets cracked
Boom, it's open. It's open.
by an NFL team,
Yeah.
it changes the whole.
But I
By the
think
way-
MLS should do it though.
A Vegas branded MLS team that's silver and black in like a co-owned Raiders with David Beckham behind it. So like silver is your primary
Yeah.
color.
It's now the coolest thing to do.
Pretty much.
That would be
I'm sorry, did you say that Ziggy could go somewhere?
this coming up year would be
Minnesota.
Yeah.
I don't think that he will go to Minnesota. I think that they have some different budget and intent that they're looking for. He might take a year off. I'd love to see Siggy doing like studio
How
Yes.
cool would that be?
I think it'd be great.
for a year on either of those networks. I think it would be good for him. And then, about halfway between the year, he get hired by a club that either had fired their coach in 2017 or one of the expansion teams for 2018.
I think
that would be
LAFC.
a good fit for him.
Yes.
Because I know he is itching to do something.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
It'll surprise me if he does not end up in LA.
I think it's where he needs to be. Personally, I think for him, I think it's a great fit. Personally.
I mean, it's
I wanna
also
see
one
it
of those
happen.
things, though. It's kind of like New York City. Couldn't you see them signing him as coach in December?
Yeah. Sure.
I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibilities.
I'd like to see him in LA though. Personally,
Even if he does that,
him
doesn't
and-
mean it doesn't preclude him from
is it
doing
wrong
television
that
or
part of
something
the
else.
reason why I would love for him to go to LAFC is because some of the people behind the Pro-Rel USA movement work for the LAFC Academy and they despise him. And so I would love for them to suffer.
Yes, please.
Okay, I want him in LA now.
Jeff
Because
Anderson.
I want those.
Right.
I want those
We're now
incompetent
pro Siggy in
coaches
LA.
that-
Jeff Anderson asks, "What happens first, Miami and MLS or Miami and the Atlantic Ocean?"
I mean, it depends. As of, we're still waiting for that hurricane to hit, right? So,
Sorry.
Yeah,
yes.
Hurricane Oak.
Nice.
I think Cincy gets in before Miami, Cincinnati. I think USL will lose.
They have
Or
a
St.
major
Louis.
stadium
Cincinnati.
situation. Their stadium is not at all MLS quality. Yeah, it's like a college stadium with a track. So they got 30,000 for their playoff game they lost, and they've had a hugely passionate crowd. Like, there's some interesting stuff happening in the Midwest.
Yep.
Indy 11 in the NASL
Yeah, that's right.
is
Yeah.
still over 10K. Louisville did a great job. Cincy did a great
St.
job.
Louis.
Heck,
Yeah,
Toledo, who was in like one of those not even PDL and PSL leagues, just said they announced at the close of their season that a pro league, a fully pro league, which means USL or NASL because it's Toledo, it's not MLS.
Right.
One of those approached them and they'd like to join in 2018 or 2019 as a fully
Wow.
pro side up in Toledo.
Wow.
Detroit, they're looking at.
Yeah.
You know,
there are a couple teams there, right?
the ownership group there is actually the ownership group approaching MLS in Detroit are the owner of the Pistons and the owner of the Cavaliers, who are both Detroit natives.
Interesting.
So that's a lot of money,
Yep.
and the stadium proposal is like, city, give us the land and we'll build it.
Which is, and land is cheap in Detroit right now, so
Yeah.
that's not a problem.
Oh, you know, there aren't many times when a stadium leads to economic revitalization. One of them is when you are in a completely blighted area,
Yes.
and it takes almost no public funds to do.
Do it right.
And that's what they're talking about. They've got connections with the local club that's not working out very well, but
Right.
the rest of it seems to be good. And even down into that kind of Mid-South area, Nashville is going to be in the USL next year.
Okay.
Reno next year. So that kind of that Midwest is booming for pro soccer. The South lost a pro team. Wilmington, the Hammerheads, where Shauna
Right.
Fairclough,
That's right.
Fairclough
Yep.
was at, is
That's
moving-
Wilmington,
they're-
North Carolina.
Yeah.
North Carolina,
Yeah.
not Wilmington, Delaware.
Right.
Yeah.
The larger of the two Wilmingtons.
Right.
Yeah.
They're leaving the USL, but they might wind up in Baltimore. They're going to be a PDL team with all the same branding, and they have a great stadium. It's just Wilmington is like the 78th largest city.
It's not a big
All right, so
town.
we have two more questions in the chat room. Does anybody else here have a question? Because then we'll wrap up.
I actually had a follow-up to about coaching. What do you think of this news of Sam Allardyce?
Oh, to Minnesota? United?
He
ridiculous
announced
is
after
that?
getting
It's
fired
a real
with pay
question.
that he wants to explore MLS. There was no.
Did he really say that? I have not watched.
Yeah. There has not been a connection to a specific team.
How about
Until
the
today.
only team right now with an open coaching spot for MLS next year
Minnesota.
is Minnesota, because both San Jose has fully committed to Dominic Kinnear next year. Yes, that should excite
Every
the other
Sounder,
9
yes,
teams
yes.
in the Western Conference.
But there's shady shit in MLS. He likes shady shit.
That's
where
the
to go.
Nutmeg News thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But look,
There are tons of rules I can break in MLS. No, it's 442 with their new comedy
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
that did a comedy. I can break a lot of rules in MLS and look forward to doing so.
What rule?
I will
Nobody knows what the
cancel
rules
my
are.
Sounders tickets if they take him over Brian. That would make me mad.
One of the good things
I don't
for
want him.
the pro
That's not
Schmetzer
gonna happen.
crowd
I know it's not going to.
is that one of the obvious you should interview for a job this big is Bob Bradley.
And that's
and
one of the questions.
now he's at a job that's better than the Sounders.
So Lisa says, "What do you think about that? About Bob Bradley going to Swansea?" That's one of my last two questions.
I
Good for
think-
Schmetz, but yeah.
I mean,
When I said that, it's
Yeah.
good for Schmetzer.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
great
Good
for
for us.
Schmetzer's
Yeah.
chances. And it's great for Bradley because even if he fails there, he can fall back to MLS.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a gateway to
Because
yeah.
anybody in if Bob's like, you know what, I'm done with this foreign stuff now,
Yeah.
every single MLS team
Would listen.
raises their hand and says, can we tell you why
Yes.
we're the right one?
Yeah,
Yeah, it just I have to say the Bradley thing, and this isn't really anything critical of him. To me, it feels like if you pay attention to Major League Baseball, there's the whole like, let's keep these same 20 managers around forever,
mm-hmm.
and sometimes it works out. Like Joe Torre was terrible for years, took over the Yankees and was just monstrous for them. And like it's happened time and time again. That doesn't mean it's the right idea. I do feel like there's a little bit of like, well, if someone's getting a job in the EPL, it's got to be Bradley.
Yeah.
You really mean to tell me there's not another American manager anywhere that's potentially better than Bradley?
The American manager overseas right now that has the next best resume is actually in the English Championship and could wind up promoted. He's at Huddersfield.
Yeah.
Really?
And he could wind up promoted. So there could be 2 Americans in the EPL next season.
Well, and it's there's actually an article on this topic in Howler, the latest Howler that just came out, about, I can't remember the former player's name or the manager now, who's in one of the German leagues. But it actually touches on who the other American managers are overseas that would be worth looking into that aren't named Bob Bradley, you know?
Yeah, but there's another guy in England that's in like the League 2, which is their 4th division, and there's a guy in Norway, and there's a guy in
American German
2nd division Germany. Like
I think it's
there's
second,
not
yeah.
a lot.
No, but
It's
it's just one of those things where you're like, there are other people that exist in the world.
The next one to get that chance, probably Siggy. If I could see him going to a German club. I mean, he's a native speaker. He's well respected in Germany and Spain. First, I didn't understand why Spain happened, but the reports were like that Obafemi Martins was telling his teammates in Levante that he was going to play for Siggy Schmidt, and they're all like, "Oh, Siggy, yeah!" Like they'd heard of him.
Yep.
I'm like, okay.
Like, how do you know who he is?
But obviously, like German clubs know of Siggy. He goes over there. He knows Arsene over in Arsenal. Hung out with him for a week 2 off seasons ago. So he's the guy that's known around the coaching sphere, which is one of the things that, the people that were the most critical of Siggy kind of don't understand that there's like 4 American coaches that have been respected internationally.
Yeah.
And Siggy's one of them. Bob Bradley's another, Bruce Arena.
Can we send Bruce Arena somewhere?
That's the
Please.
Just like pick a place.
You're-
China.
Jurgen to
Please
wherever,
take,
and Bruce
take
Arena.
him.
China. It's pronounced China.
Russia.
The Saturday
my
Night
God.
Live skit.
He would get tossed out of China so fast for saying something stupid.
All right, last question, unless anyone else here has one. Okay, after you, we'll do this one first. Todd Peterson. I'm going to ask it to his question. You can read it, but I'm going to just talk about it.
Let me.
So basically, on the downside, Dempsey retires, right? So Dempsey's gone, not here next year. Reality is, you probably don't have Valdez as a DP anymore either, obviously, right? So now we're at 2 free DP spots. Lodero's back, obviously. He'll still be our DP next year. So you have 2 DP spots.
So you're saying, who do you call on the Lodero phone?
Yes.
Paul Pogba.
Do you have a thought? I mean, Paul Pogba. Did you see that miss he did, though, on this weekend? Oh, my God.
Just let it go.
Jesus.
Payet would fit in this club very well because he has no left foot.
Really? Oh, because you're just like, God damn it. You know what? Damn it. I thought it.
Zing!
Ah, damn it. I just
No, he really has no left foot.
No, I know.
People would bitch and complain about it, even though he's like the 10th best player in the world. But that's the way our fan base is.
Freddie
Our
Montero.
player has one flaw, and so he's garbage.
Freddie
Hey,
Montero?
did you see he scored a goal with his left foot?
Yeah,
2 days ago?
Schmetz actually asked that in that
Yeah.
post game. He's like, left foot, huh?
Yeah. Montero?
But yes, I would actually say that a player with Freddie Montero's skill set, which is very similar to how Clint played. Now, they have a different style
Yes.
to how they do it, but
Yep.
they're both goal scorers. They do
Uh-huh.
it from distance and in close. They are assist players. They like to work in tight spaces and under contact. They're the same player again. One of them has their style knob turned all the way to grit and anger,
Yep.
and the other one has it turned to flow and dance.
Yep. Yeah.
But that would be the older of the 2 DP slots would be a player like that.
Yeah.
And then young, you go for the guy that the 4 dudes that were on your short list that you didn't get with Lodero,
Yeah.
which were Jason, spelled really odd, Vargas, Sebastian Blanco.
Okay. Yeah, Blanco. Yeah. But is he a TAM guy or is he a DP guy?
He'd be a DP guy. It's like a $2.5 million
Oh, okay. All right.
fee.
Okay.
Oscar Romero.
Okay.
And Garth said at that Vancouver game, Kiyotabi, a Japanese player that is currently in Portugal or Spain, but had been in Germany.
Okay.
So I work that short list again and say, hey,
Yeah.
I know it didn't work out now, but let's do it again.
Okay.
And those were all guys that were nearly Ladero level. So you get one of them, and then you get a guy that, basically averaged 12 goals and 8 assists a year, and your band of 3 is a nearly Ladero player, a
Ladero.
Freddie Montero, and a Ladero.
I think if
That's a good band of 3.
I think if Deuce
Yes,
has
please.
to retire, like
Also, I
knock on
cry.
wood, let's not
Yeah,
do
I know.
that. I think you get somebody who we all don't necessarily know about, like a Ladero, like that level of player that we don't know their name, and then I think they go for somebody that you know.
Like Freddie.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
well-
I'm saying we don't. It doesn't have to be a former Sounder. I could see it being someone in a high league that
I don't think
like
they won't look for a marketing. They haven't signed a marketing angle guy.
Sends him.
You don't think replacing Dempsey? They wouldn't try and replace a Dempsey at that class.
Only 2 of the DPs have been marketing signings. Freddie Unberg to launch the team.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Clint Dempsey. Yeah. And then Dempsey.
And let's be clear, the reason was, 1, Clint said he'd only be on 3 teams, and 2, Joe Ross had a love affair with Clint Dempsey that goes
Forever.
back years.
It won't surprise
They're-
me if
they're-
they bring in somebody though.
The
who's
other
a
guys
name.
on that list were Didier Drogba, who will be retiring either this year or next year.
I
Chicharito,
don't-
who's not leaving Germany.
But I don't mean
He
like
should,
somebody
by the
that
way.
every person out there knows who they are and they're necessarily like on the front of a magazine, but like somebody that soccer heads know who this
Yeah.
person is. That's
Yeah.
more of what I mean.
I-
I think you get somebody
Is it-
that's got some like notability to them.
So is it because of my
If there's
love
2.
affair with the Sounders of 2009, 10, 11, whatever, that I want Freddie back? Is that I don't know what it is, but watching him score goals, it
He
just
put up basically the same numbers in Portugal that he did with the Sounders.
right.
Portugal's a better league, and he did that where he was a rotational guy. He
Right.
only started half the games.
Exactly.
Because Slimini is
Yeah.
amazing, and they won't get him.
And I gotta believe he'd
'Cause
want to come back.
Right.
He's with... I want either of the Algerians for Leicester. Leicester, I mean.
Leicester.
Yeah.
Leicester.
Leicester.
Bethlehem.
Bethlehem.
All right. So.
Bethlehem.
So this is great. So both Mariana in the audience and Todd both asked, "Can we afford?" was Todd's question, and then she asked, "Is Oba a free agent?"
Oba is a free agent at the end of this year. Somehow he managed in his 9-month contract with his club in China to make like twice what he would have made for
Yeah.
the rest of his contract with the Sounders, which was 2 years.
Yep.
So he is a free agent. But I think he's burned that bridge.
No, thank you.
I would give it like a
with the club. Not
negative
necessarily the fans.
78%
Yeah.
that
I think
Oba
the
comes
fans would
back.
have him back. I don't think the club would have him back.
I have to tell you, the discussion was,
I would.
Are you going to bring in 15 goals from another player or two? It happened.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be like,
Yeah.
and I have just hearing stuff from front office. They want no part of renegotiating every 7 minutes with him.
No, I agree with that.
I mean,
agree
he
with
once
that.
asked for a raise less than a month after signing
A raise.
a raise.
Yeah.
So, like, if you've ever played FIFA, there's like players that are always like,
You know
"No,
it's
I
gonna
want to
get
do
that."
contract." Like he's that player in your like FIFA
Yeah. Past his
manager
bedtime.
mode.
So I think it's. I still love the guy. I still hate the guy too. I mean,
I
leaving.
just don't want a mercenary,
Yeah.
and that's what he is.
Like it's taken
I
a
have
while
news for you.
but
Yeah, they're all
guy he
mercenaries.
asked out. He asked out.
He asked out. Yeah. He wanted to
Some
leave.
more than others, though.
But he also asked out after saying we're going to win Seattle.
Well,
Exactly.
He didn't ask out. He
hey,
asked for a raise.
so if
Yeah.
he asked
Seattle
for a
wins
raise, and I
MLS
said, no,
Cup,
find a better job.
then thanks, Oba.
Yeah.
If we're gonna close, I just have
Yeah,
a
go
couple
ahead.
things.
Real quick. You gotta
One,
plug yourself,
if you
because
want to
I've-
go on the last away trip of the year to Dallas on the 16th, tickets end being on sale tomorrow at 5. So if you want to go
Follow
to Dallas,
at ECS Travel Monkey
Yeah.
for more of your
Yeah.
Travel
If
Monkey
you want to go to
needs.
one of the worst cities in the country,
hey,
Frisco's the Bellevue of Dallas.
it's a lot further from Dallas than Bellevue is from Seattle. But
I will save my money for that first.
free parking.
There's also like 2
Playoff
million
game.
Question.
people within like 15 minutes of their stadium.
Anyway,
The
no.
problem is not population. there.
No, it's not.
And we'll have more on the Zach Scott testimonial soon.
Yes, we need
So-
to talk about that. We were instructed by a certain member of the coaching staff in private conversations to continue talking about that every week.
So
Zach
what you're
Scott
saying is-
testimonial.
Zach Scott testimonial.
So what you're saying is those private conversations are now no longer private.
No, I
By
didn't
the
say
way,
who it was.
Did you know Zach Scott is not 15?
Zach Scott, not 15.
Who wants to drive to the first playoff game?
Doesn't matter where it is.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Doesn't matter.
Away Kansas City.
I have my
Drive away
knife.
Kansas City.
Aaron's
In
taking us all on Uber.
Yeah, Uber. Yeah.
Well,
We gotta stop every
wouldn't
20.
that be a surprise?
Who just got a new credit card? Because
Exactly. Yeah.
we're gonna need
It's
one.
gonna be expensive. All right. So we'll end on
Full
that
tank
note.
of
But
gas.
thank you guys for watching. It's been fun tonight. Thank you. Thank you guys for all coming out tonight. I will not be here next week. Hugo will be back next week.
It's gonna be a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
I am so excited.
So
Why-
my wife is going on a
No,
business
not
trip.
why. I don't care why you're not here.
Oh,
I
okay.
want to know why it's going to be a cluster because Yugo's here.
Oh, I don't know.
I
'Cause-
trust Yugo more than. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
thanks
what?
for volun-
Yeah.
Make it a cluster.
I just realized it's my ride home.
All right, boys and girls.
Bye, everyone.
We love you guys. See you guys
Have a
next
good
week.
evening.
And go Sounders.